I'm going to predict it right now, right here. Wii emulation. I think Wii emulation, like Wii coming to the NSO, is going to rely on that mouse.
Quentin here. I'm fine, babe.
This is Ethan. Nah, I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll!
Welcome to the Power Up Brothers podcast, where my name is Hippopotamus, and my shtick is that I don't like video games, except for the ones we talk about today.
Foreshadowing.
Or five shadowing.
Five shadowing.
I survived.
Ethan's alive.
Ethan's alive.
He's with us.
Yes.
Yeah, and so am I.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Quinn's
No.
also.
I'm
Who
not.
cares?
The jury's still out.
Also,
on
I don't know if
Quinn.
you remember.
Yeah.
Penguin Mario looks different. He looks hairier.
You guys hear something? I feel like the ghost of Quentin's in the room.
He's trying to tell us something.
Rachel's back in the corner.
Where she belongs.
terrible now.
He's
my
always the same. Yeah.
We decided.
You can't hear
that-
me.
We decided that women belong to be in the corner.
Oh,
seen but not heard.
boy.
Oh.
We exiled
Run-
Rachel.
running
right
Wait,
now.
you said
Yeah.
seen but not heard, and then gave her a camera and a microphone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
your,
no.
your plan didn't work out, buddy boy.
Getting
Didn't
mixed
go too
signals.
well.
Not on. Most
Sorry,
of the
babe. It's not. Your plan didn't work.
We almost made it to 100 subscribers, and then we got canceled by time.
I did it.
Thanks a lot.
That was my goal.
We may not have 100 subscribers, but what we do have is a very exciting podcast today.
We do.
We do.
We've got a lot lined up, a lot of stuff not lined up that we're just
Yeah.
going to make up on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But
but
then before
you know-
that, before we get to the really interesting stuff, we have the news.
If you like what you saw here today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the things you would do to help a little tiny baby channel like ours grow big and strong.
guys, we're officially at the point where like we're going to have to record. We're at the point where we may be like cutting right here to a reaction of us talking about the fact that Switch 2 finally got it. Holy moly.
Oh my God!
We were right. We did have to edit it in.
What happened?
Guys, it is.
I-
we are sat here
why
on
are we here?
January. Why are any of us here? Why are we in the pod?
Why are any of us here? Switch 2.
Switch 2,
baby.
I was asleep and I just woke up here,
Bro.
up, and you changed my clothes.
You think I did it to you, guys? You think it's bad for us? It was 5 a.m. for the West Coast people.
That's pretty
when Nintendo announced it. So
Yeah.
like it was 8 o'clock. I was
Whose
at
idea
work
was
and
that?
I was just looking at my phone, and then an update from Nintendo came up. But if you were on the West Coast, I'm very sorry. It was 5 a.m.
They like being
You're definitely asleep.
unpredictable.
Yeah, it's
This
the most
Nintendo.
fever dream-esque
Yeah.
way to wake up.
And
It's weird because I think that the leaks took all the surprise away from Nintendo. They were
Yes.
like, because now that we've seen it, Genki,
it was 100%.
It was
Yeah.
100%. Yep. Even
A lot
as the
of the-
mouse feature, they showed it.
Yeah,
Yep.
showed
all
off the
that.
mouse feature, like that Switch Leaks or whatever
Yeah.
the guy's profile name was said.
Nate the Hate, yeah.
Nate the Hate also said it.
No, I
Yeah.
think the big thing is that like Nintendo was just like, you know what? We can surprise you. We're just gonna
Oh,
drop
yes.
it.
Watch this.
Oh, yeah.
Watch this. I said
No
I jokingly
announcements,
said
yeah.
that they wanted this thing to already be on store shelves by the
Mhm.
time they announced it, and that I do think I will say the first thing I want to say up front is that like reaction online to this trailer has been a little bit mixed. Some people
Yeah.
don't like it,
Yeah.
some people do.
Mm.
I like most people I think are with me in the camp of like they like the look of the actual system.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they revealed it almost exactly like an iPhone. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly
Hmm.
how Apple does their trailers,
Interesting.
and they're not. It's obviously way less exciting and good than the Switch's reveal trailer.
Obviously, yeah.
and
It's
there's
also a
reason
lot
for
less new
no,
to
there's
show
a, there's a
off.
ton
Yeah.
of reason for that, and I'm gonna make this prediction now, but I'm so certain I'm right. This was thrown together pretty quick.
Oh, you think so?
When I saw the direct was not until April, I was
Mhm.
like,
It's a ways off.
Or
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so they're probably going for a June launch. The original Switch was announced and launched in the same window of from like April to June. It's why everybody thought when they heard about this announcement that this was coming in March, because it would be the same like window
Sure.
for the original Switch.
Right.
But then it's further off. They put
The Switch was like October to March.
Yeah.
So it had a it could
I thought
be.
they announced the Switch in December.
Nope. They announced it in October of 2016. The first video that went up. The awesome Switch reveal.
Yeah,
with
an
the
amazing
dog
commercial.
And the plane and Skyrim.
The thing that makes me think, and I'm almost certain that they put this together in about a month.
Okay.
When they saw like this thing is leaking out everywhere.
Yeah.
Is the C button has no texture on it.
Yeah.
We know it has a C on it. It's a flat button in that image. So the render
Yeah,
is
where-
not complete.
Where on the physical Switch is the C button? I was looking
just
for
below
it.
the home button.
Mm-hmm.
On the front face of the left Joy-Con?
Of
Yeah,
the right Joy-Con.
Of the right
yeah.
Joy-Con. Okay.
Just it's a square button just below the home button. We know it has a C on it because the mock-ups, and now there's just a wild unit out there that we've seen. But the render in the Imp trailer doesn't have it. And to me, it's like, oh, this was made very quickly. They missed this.
It could be, yeah.
So and it's way less exciting than the Switch ones. They were not always planning for this to be the reveal.
Kit and Krista talked about how internally at Nintendo, they were like super critical when Kit and Krista worked there of 3D model they call it the technology flyby, where the technology is just flying at you. Inside Nintendo, they didn't like that. Yeah. He's like, so they've clearly changed their mind because that's how they're showing off Switch 2. I think it worked really well.
It worked for like demoing the product. It made it look very flashy. It's why
Also,
Apple does it.
It did a good job of showing you all the ways that it is different from the Switch.
Yeah.
The difference in size dimensions, difference in like how the Joy-Cons snap on, difference in like the mouse, the weird mouse functionality.
The mouse features is probably the biggest.
The kickstand.
The biggest thing that's different.
It did a good job of showing
it.
this is not the same console. So I think they're very careful to not repeat their Wii to Wii U mistake.
That's exactly what I
My thought on that is, because I agree with you 100%. But my thought on that is that we went from Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64. You can't think that's an upgrade. We went from 64 to GameCube. You can't think that's just an upgrade. Two different consoles. We went from GameCube to Wii. And then they went Wii U, and everyone was like, oh, this is just a stronger...
Is it a peripheral?
game.
It's like an attachment.
And so, everyone was confused. And then they did new 3DS, which I thought was a new console when I saw it. And it even said they're going to be exclusive games. There were two.
And it wasn't
two.
It wasn't
It had a joystick and it had all this other stuff, and it was bigger and had more buttons, it had the extra shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
It looks like a new console. And they called it new 3DS.
Yeah.
And now they've got Switch and Switch 2, and it does kind of look like new 3DS.
It definitely looks like new.
My thought
3DS.
is like they are panicking about how to name these because they're like, we made the Wii U and people couldn't figure it out. What can we put on the end to make people know? And I'm like, what you can put is a different name entirely.
Yeah.
Like
don't
you always
use the same
have.
name and no one will be confused.
They don't want to walk away from the Switch branding, is what it is.
No,
It's
they
their
don't.
best-selling
They
console
don't?
of all time, I think, or for Nintendo.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it's past
I think it
the...
Is it past the 3DS?
But
I don't know if it's past
Or the DS.
DS yet.
Okay.
there's an important factor to that too. So they're like, what can we put here? And homeboy out at Nintendo opened up Microsoft Word. He typed in a 2 and he hit impact font.
It is Impact font.
When-
which is funny. They
That's
do
pretty
not have
funny.
a custom font.
When
Yeah.
I arrive in hell and I see James Cameron there, who is there because he used papyrus on the avatar font,
That's
I
pretty
will
bad.
look over and see the Nintendo employee who used impact for the Switch 2.
Yeah, there was and so like the fact that they kind of copied the Apple style of reveal, right down to the seams like appearing, and
If Apple had 8
color.
years between its
And color.
its
Like,
announcements.
exactly.
I'll say
Yeah.
this: it's very much like an Apple one, but Apple tends to go for like these like neon lights, and Switch is like plastic colors, like bright plastic colors, which are just very appealing.
Yeah. And like the fact that they went with that though, and not something more of their own, that was like more because Nintendo likes to be different than everybody.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just copied like the biggest tech giant in the world, and the fact that the C button has no render, I think they put this together very quickly.
Cobbled together very quickly.
But I do think it got its job across. I mean, its job ultimately, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if the reveal trailer was just like a blank room and a guy walks in and he slams the Nintendo Switch 2 down and he says, "Here, are you happy?" and then the video ends. If it gets on YouTube trending,
It's
true.
mission accomplished.
It's true. Yeah.
That's all that really matters.
They also tagged at the end the critical thing, because even if someone mistook it for a just upgrade to the Switch, that would be cleared up in the direct.
Yeah,
right.
obviously.
They're not going to clear that up. There's no way to clear that up with just visuals to be for someone who gets confused. This is as clear, like you were saying, as clear as they could be.
Yeah.
But right at the end, they just have a big bar of text that says it's backwards compatible with both physical and software.
Please stop asking us about this.
Don't worry.
We had talked about that being the criteria for it being a good start.
Yeah.
Like, to have a good start at all, that has to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Especially if you're not
there,
going to
it's bad.
start with a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
what am I going to do
Right.
with this big,
Exactly.
beautiful lump of
I
plastic?
think
In
we're
OS,
more-
like that's
NSO.
seems to be in the bag, or the
NSO.
it seems to be in the bag.
That has to be.
It has to be, because they're keeping the Nintendo Switch ideas going,
so they don't have to change the name.
You can
Nintendo
call-
Switch Online.
You can call it Nintendo Switch
It's
Online.
true, yeah.
I think we'd be more forgiving of a new console not being backwards compatible if it was like a gigantic leap, like N64,
Wii U to Switch.
GameCube.
Yeah,
GameCube Wii.
in my opinion, technology rarely iterates the way it did in the 90s.
Not anymore.
Like
so
we
fast.
were going leaps and bounds. We had 2D games and then 3D games. We were adding functions and features to controllers constantly, and then we got to like the middle of 2000s. The Wii came along, and even Nintendo was like, these features are gonna have to like stack.
We're tired, guys.
We're so tired.
We're so old.
To play Star Wars Dark Forces, you have to emulate DOS. But to play Dark Forces 2, you just hit install.
Yeah,
It still runs on, like, your modern
Mm-hmm.
computer can play it. We have to emulate DOS to play Dark Forces. You don't with
technology is becoming
It's all-
more analogous.
Yeah, it's
and
becoming more future-proof and more
homogeneous.
like backward compatibility is becoming a bigger thing. I think the one thing that this trailer doesn't do that the original Switch did, to Rachel's point about like showing off features, is that like the original Switch, its big feature was portability and docking. In the original Switch trailer, it's playing on a TV at first, and then the guy just takes it, and then we see the
leaves.
Joy-Cons come off.
And they specifically make him go somewhere outside where there's no internet.
Yeah, there's no
There's
Wi-Fi.
no streaming like you
And
have
he's
done
just
on
playing
previous
with people.
devices. He's just playing outside, and then it shows a guy get on a plane and play it, which means that it doesn't have to be connected to the internet.
Exactly.
And then somebody
Very
like
clever.
sets it down and hands someone else the other control. Like Rachel, you said it well about how there's not a single word said in that.
Without uttering a single word or showing a single line of text, they showed you everything that the Nintendo Switch was capable of doing.
It was
Yeah, in that
absolutely
in 3
genius.
minutes.
Yeah.
That was a perfect commercial.
It was.
I watch it before I go to bed.
And like, yeah,
very relaxing.
I love
Did
the
you
music.
guys notice that the Switch 2 trailer is 2 minutes and 22
I
seconds
did.
long?
Yeah, that's funny.
That's pretty funny.
It's clever.
I think that the other thing, the C button, there are leaks about it being a like a social hub. So it's called Campus.
Oh,
And your friends are you and a group of friends get into Campus together, and then while you're playing any game, you can be playing together, you can be playing apart. You hit the C button, and you immediately you can be talking to your friends via Campus, and you can also see what they're playing. Jump into the multiplayer game.
Dope.
That's building
that
around.
confirmed?
I said it's not confirmed,
Okay.
but the same leakers who predicted all of this stuff are saying it.
Gotcha.
The mouse guy.
Yeah.
The mouse guy is saying it, and so
Let's talk about that. The
Weird.
Joy-Con rails, they click into the rails and then scoot across.
so much
scoot
nicer.
across.
It was very subtle.
Yeah.
It looks so much nicer. I think that some people are like, why bother? Because you already have motion control.
Mhm.
But there's a couple of reasons. For one thing, a mouse is much more precise.
Way more precise.
Yeah.
And because you have resistance
Mm-hmm.
because of the friction on the surface, so you can stop much quicker on a mouse
Yeah.
than you can with the motion control. And like that, and the idea of a laser optic, the idea of bouncing a laser back and using that to track your position is just so well understood and so precise. People have been wanting mouse and keyboard support in console games for a long time, but that's such a difficult feature to implement. I think this will push developers to like have that kind of support.
At least just included.
At least included.
I'm going to predict it right now, right here. Wii emulation. I think Wii emulation, like Wii coming to the NSO, is going to rely on that mouse. Like they're going to say like, because John Cartwright over at Good Vibes Gaming talks a lot about how the pointer on the Wii was extremely precise compared to gyro. When you switch to like gyro, gyro cannot stay still. Like if you try to hold gyro perfectly still, it'll always jitter. But the sensor bar was just infrared, so it could stay perfectly still. It was super precise. This is literally infrared again. Yeah. So I think that Wii emulation is going to lean on, like when Wii comes to NSO, they'll be like, here's the Wii remote in the same kind of vein as the N64 NSO or Super Nintendo NSO controller. Or you can just pop a Joy-Con off, set it down, and that'll be your pointer.
Now, the other thing is, how happy are the two of you that Mario Kart was the thing?
That's the one.
Nothing eclipses this guy's
thing.
joy. He came home basically like skipping Mickey Mouse style into the house. Well, he was Nintendo, so happy.
It's so funny because when it starts off, I was like, oh, it's showing Mario Kart 8.
Yeah,
because it doesn't look that different at first.
No, it's definitely
and like
the track
Mario,
huge.
Mario Kart. There's only
like,
so
I've never
much
seen that
you do with the like cartoony art style with increased power.
Sure.
But the thing I'm always looking forward to from Nintendo is that like they're going to take all that system power and apply it in different ways. Like 28 racers. There were 28 other racers in the trailer.
It's so insane.
If you want to
at the same time,
graphical difference, look at Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Donkey Kong looks really different.
He looks way
Bowser looks really different.
Yep.
I mean,
the lighting
thing is
super different. It's just not the thing that jumps out at you when you first see it.
The cart looks so cool with like the like blue
spring.
Hydraulics, or shocks, I guess. I can't even be.
Luigi's in a souped up
evil.
SUV.
They just showed it a little bit,
and then
I'm putting it in the
like this is what you get for leaking.
Of course,
we're gonna torment you. We're not gonna say a word.
We're gonna torture you.
I'm so happy
launch?
none of those images leaked.
Yeah,
I got to see Mario Kart 9 or 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been quiet as the grave about Mario Kart.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any software leaks.
Breath of the Wild remaster.
Oh, one thing that leaks that is true. That's actually a great point. One thing that the leakers have all been saying is that like while the Direct in April is Nintendo, they did this because they want third parties to just go ahead and announce stuff for it.
Oh, cool.
And the stuff that got leaked as coming is like a lot of upcoming games, and then like recent big releases like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Did they announce that?
No.
Oh.
These are all leaks and rumors. But if they're like, okay, we announced the system, you guys go ahead and announce whatever games you want for it now. You can put the tag on there for Nintendo Switch 2. It's done.
And it's official.
It's official. You don't have to hold back anymore because there are a lot of games coming out that they really want these third-party developers to just go ahead and announce. One of the things is that the Halo Master Chief Collection is strongly rumored.
I've heard that.
I went through all of the comments as well.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there was this big division between if you knew the rumors and leaks, you were happy with this. And if you weren't aware, you were confused or disappointed.
Interesting.
It was always an unwinnable circumstance. So like some people were like, this is the most lackluster. They just put it on YouTube.com.
Our message to you fans is if you're disappointed in the presentation of this, it's understandable. It was an emergency because people already have this thing and have leaked everything you saw.
Yeah.
But the leakers were wrong about it coming out in March. It's not coming out in March. The Direct's not till April.
Yeah.
So we're excited.
I wanted to say these two comments. So first of all, the 22 seconds, 2 minutes, 22 seconds one. A lot of people are saying like, I like this. No insanely long suspense or anything. Just a quick, here's what it looks like. More info later. Right? That was the nature of a lot of the other responses. Sure. And the other one was, I can't believe I just woke up to this. So disappointing. They just dropped this. Seems like they aren't interested. And it's like, if you went from Switch to Switch 2 and you you would just like played a handful.
It's definitely
of
less
games on them.
fanfare.
It's a fanfare, especially because like I don't know the age of this account, but if you were a young person when that happened, it was like this giant explosion, and then like,
true.
you age up 8 years or however long it's been,
7 years,
and 7 years, and then like
Since the
some of that
original.
childhood
Oh, yeah.
wonder wears off, and then Nintendo does this to you.
Yeah.
But my
Sure.
favorite comment, and I saw so many of these after I saw the first one, was, "It looks delicious. I'm going to eat the Switch too, and no one can stop me."
Actually, when like the colors are appearing,
colors-
it looks kind of like
Really
candy.
good. Really good.
It's got that
When I
like
watched-
textured matte, kind of like
Yeah.
cake.
I'm gonna eat
When I
the
watched-
Switch
Is that
too,
cake?
and no one can
Guys,
stop me.
I'm just so excited that
Yep.
we can find that it's official now.
Yeah.
Switch 2 is official. We can finally
Let's
move on from Switch 2 rumors, and we can get started on Switch 3 rumors.
with 3 rumors. No, we get what's gonna
Switch
happen.
2 Pro coming next year.
What's gonna happen is we're gonna start talking about software leaks next.
Yep.
We'll
God.
never
Games.
escape the leaks.
No.
Thank God. Guys, Mario Kart. Do Mario,
Kart
Kart.
is real.
Please, show me more.
Back to the pod.
Okay, but they showed a 3D model
It doesn't
of this,
necessarily. Yeah.
and Devin, was the 3D model just the Nintendo Switch? Just again, is it just exactly the same as the original Nintendo Switch?
I'm at this point where I'm going to say no. Because the thing is like you can't look at the Game Boy Advance and say, well, it's just the original Game Boy, because it's like the number of buttons is not the same.
Yeah.
They added in shoulder buttons. The screen is different. The overall like
The layout is
profile,
different. Yeah.
Sure.
the layout is different. And so like the Switch 2 at this point is more of a just sort of like a little step up,
Yeah.
a tick rather than a talk.
It's
as
a
like,
Game Boy Advance. That's a
I
good
don't know
way
what
of,
that means.
of
Yeah.
putting it.
Is it like a
It's not a big
3DS
jump.
to DS?
You think-
essentially
That's
in-
like I think
'Cause
that
that's a
those
big
are the
jump.
two same most
Yeah.
similar in layout and like format, but the biggest leap.
Yeah, because ultimately, if you want to be cynical, the 3DS
I
has
do.
a wider screen and a circle pad. If you just want to boil it down, because you're just looking at it, you haven't turned it on, you don't know what
It's a
it
gyro.
functions on, but you don't
But
know
you don't know that from looking at
You're
it.
just
is
looking
yeah.
at
If
it.
it
You do,
leaked.
so the 3DS, you can see a 3D slider.
Okay, that's a good point.
So there is the
There's
implication.
a C button.
There's a C
No one
button
knows what it does.
on the right Joy-Con that no
It's
one
not.
understands.
It's not the
Oh,
capture
left
button.
Joy-Con or right.
It's on the
Joy-Con?
right. It's on the left Joy-Con because
yeah.
the capture button's on the right, and C can't stand for capture. They've already got a capture button. What does
And
C
now-
stand for?
And
Yeah.
now here's a question: what is their gimmick going to be that's going to force me to buy it?
That's
They probably don't have one that'll force you to buy it.
no.
Okay.
I've heard you guys talking about how it has like a mouse.
So
Some people
there's
think-
an optical. There's what appears to be a laser and an optical sensor on the inside rail of the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are thinking that that is a mouse, which will have like obviously higher accuracy and fidelity than using motion controls for things.
right.
And it's not new, a completely novel idea. The Legion Go actually has something very similar.
Yeah, on the bottom of its right Joy-Con, because
Yeah.
that's what it is.
There-
You put it
there's-
in a little case
so-
and it becomes a
Doesn't
mouse.
that
Yeah,
just
but I don't like the positioning on the Legion Go. very
No.
Doesn't
much.
that just
Awkward.
mean that when Quentin acquires the next Legend of Zelda, it'll already have mouse support for his
Correct.
illicit uses of it?
Correct.
I
Are
don't
you excited
appreciate
now?
your accusations.
Oh, let me make them more clear. When you illegally pirate the game
Yeah.
I don't-
against
We can't
the
admit
law,
to that on
Yeah,
the
we-
pod.
you know, I'm
Just
going
believe all
to
that.
say, you know what, you can make that.
Do you appreciate that?
You can allege that. I'm going to say to the American government and to Nintendo that I do not participate in any illegal activity of any kind. Scouts honor.
Scouts honor.
Xi Jinping, please grant my visa immediately. I have to get out by the end of the year. Okay. Yes, I
He's
do
not going to
appreciate
because
that.
you're not playing Marvel Rivals and
Oh my,
giving
that
him
is,
all
that,
your
is a,
money.
that is a good point. Oh my God, Xi, I'll
He
work on
gets
it.
all
I'll
the
work
money
on
from
it.
that.
I swear.
Speaking of Marvel
No,
Rivals,
but I will say in response
speaking of
in response to what Ethan said,
Yeah.
the problem is so there is a game console right now that has mouse and keyboard support.
most of them.
It's called
The
almost
PC.
all of them, and also a little thing called the Steam Deck. And every Windows portable console,
Sure.
and also my PC. And why would I?
Speaking
That's what
of
I mean.
Steam,
I mean, like Zelda will now have native mouse.
That's true.
Instead
Yeah.
of set
That's
some
true.
mod
I
for
think-
an emulator,
I think
it'll just
the-
be, there'll just
yeah.
be mouse.
I think the draw is
options.
that people, like what Ethan's saying, developers will actually add mouse support because, like you
Right.
say, a PS5 you can plug in a mouse and it works on
Yes.
certain things, but most developers don't add mouse support.
Well, I was thinking about
this
the
is
Xbox.
the left Joy-Con.
It's on both.
The only reason that I'm like that that I'm like, okay, I think that we're talking about Nintendo. So often we'll think of like a really straightforward thing, like, optical sensor, mouse. It must be a mouse. There's no way Nintendo's just doing it.
No. Here's the thing I wanted to point out, and that segue is really good. I'm almost certain that it will function as a mouse, but I'm also gonna bet, and I'm saying it right now.
Prediction.
That's not all it does, because an optical sensor can be used for a lot of things.
No, I'll tell you what it'll do.
Wasn't the Wii motion bar an optical sensor? No,
it's like an infrared.
It was an infrared sensor. So
it's like if you the Wii would be like if you took the camera, the optical sensor, and put it in the remote, and then the lasers were on your TV.
Yeah,
this takes it all and puts it into one, and it detects, a surface.
I'll tell you exactly what it'll do. Okay, it'll be called the Binklebonkus 2000. Okay, and Nintendo will be like, this thing can identify the shape of a banana. Right?
It could be a rangefinder, like you and a friend. It can tell how far apart you are.
It'll tell you how far the banana is from you.
Yeah, exactly.
In one game.
Yeah,
because
the laser could be really powerful,
and then never show up again.
Saw through your television.
Nintendo will say, "Listen, this thing is so great. You just have to buy some cardboard attachments."
Yep.
Another thing that was at CES was that Valve announced that SteamOS is coming to like
everything.
Everything.
I'm happy about it.
Everything. I think they said certain Android devices can install.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to partition my computer to just have SteamOS on it because now having just native running on it, I probably will just do that for gaming.
Yeah.
SteamOS is really good.
Nice.
I like it on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Well, I wish that Valve didn't trick me.
Yeah.
Valve duped me.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, here's a eMMC version of the Steam Deck. It'll run just fine. We'll support it forever. Guess what? They don't support it anymore.
Yeah, they don't support it.
I was like, what's wrong? Why are my shaders compiling weird? And Valve was like, gotcha. I got it fixed for your problem. It's called another Steam Deck.
It's called a different
Steam Deck.
It's called the OLED.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully the Switch
thanks a lot.
is the Steam Switch, as I like to call it.
Is that the Switch too?
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
The Steam Deck.
No one.
I see.
Steam's version of the Switch
right.
is you can open that puppy up and take parts out and replace them. And just saying, there is a solution.
You're pretty thrifty.
There is a solution to your problem beyond buying
the power supply
part.
You know,
let me just open it up.
But I was absolutely terrified at the thought that they were probably going to announce a new Steam Deck, and I obviously bought the OLED.
It's coming, yeah. I mean, it's obviously coming.
It has to be.
But I would like if the OLED had a longer lifespan, because honestly, I don't think that it needs any
everybody's
upgrades.
holding out. AMD, according to some leaks that came out of CES, seems to be teasing their next generation cards, and the next generation of FSR will have hardware specializations that are required, and that like the tensor cores are for NVIDIA's DLSS, and so we're going more toward proprietary hardware, which would help consoles that used it, but does box everybody else out from using FSR.
Sure.
Well, I've got some news.
Well,
are you ready?
You mentioned FSR, and I just gotta say, if Nintendo doesn't call their upscaling the Super FX, that like.
I know, right?
Then I don't want the
Super FX mode.
Missed opportunity. If they don't.
I mean, they should have called it the Super Nintendo Switch. It has a Super FX mode.
Come on,
it can play Super Mario Brothers.
It sells
1.
itself.
Yeah,
that's all I need.
Yeah. They can color it gray and purple.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Nintendo, why aren't we on your payroll?
I know.
Yeah, listen to me.
Sorry, Quentin, you said
I've got some news.
It's unprecedented.
It's unprecedented. Is that Animal Crossing in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Neither.
Don't like that.
That's the news. No, the news
like
is Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was a gacha game that came out like 7 years ago, and when it came out, I thought that it was ontologically evil, and that Nintendo needed to safely evacuate everyone from their headquarters and then burn the place to the ground. I was so bothered by Nintendo's gacha games. Years went by, they had all these expansions, and they finally released a version of it that is complete. It lacks certain online features and updates. But you pay one price and you get everything. All the stuff that you would have previously paid for, they are very generous with giving you all the tokens to get. The The only problem is that I bought it and have been enjoying it. It was only, I want to say $9.99, something like that.
Yep.
$10, and there's been plenty to do so far in the game. And it's a new Animal Crossing for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I never played Pocket Camp.
Which is terrific.
Yeah.
However, Nintendo, you monsters. You monsters. I'm talking to you, Greg Nintendo, or whatever your name is, who's running this joint.
You mean Shiggy Momo?
Shiggy Momo, I am so mad at, because guess what? The $9.99, that reasonable price, is changing to $20 after this month.
Oh,
if you
on January 31st.
On January 31st.
Quick, go buy Pocket Camp.
They are changing the price
to $19.99.
Double
Inflation is crazy.
what it is. So let me get this straight, gentlemen.
It was like a special price. They offered it temporarily.
It's a special price of half off for the initial release period. Let me get this straight. They released a gacha game 7 years ago or so.
Yep.
To trick people with anxiety disorders into playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Looking at you, Cameron.
And also to spending money through the credit card, which is on their
parents' account.
On their parents' account.
Yeah.
That's connected to their phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
They then ran that app for 7 years with expansions, with new things to buy.
Correct.
And then they said to a whole new audience, give us $20 after the first, short period of it.
I feel like they should give that version to anybody who played the original version and spent more than $10.
I will say everything
might be hard to track. I don't know.
Everything
I mean, if they know if I've spent $10.
No, that's true. Yeah.
I want to say everything carried over, like all your save carried over.
Yeah.
But my point is I'm like, wait a minute.
You had to buy it again.
Wait a minute.
You still had to buy it.
Did
again.
you? Yeah, that's
well, it was
that's the
not
concern.
again. You had to.
No, but you had to. If you sank,
you had to buy the offline version.
Let's say you sank $100 into this game via the gacha
True.
mechanics and buying the little fortune cookies and things like that. If you did that,
give it to me for free.
Give it for free.
I do like, we talked about a while back that games as a service would be a more appealing idea if the company was upfront being like, hey, we know nothing lasts forever. We're committed to, when this service ends, we're making an offline version.
Yeah.
And you get it if you've invested. And because so many are, Capcom released Mega Man X Dive offline. There are a lot of them are releasing offline versions, and I like that. But to Quinn's point, I think that some of them are massively overpriced.
Well, and it's cool. The
are.
cool part of a live service is you're in a moment. You're like living in the moment that they're releasing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's sad when because games are often like a relic of their era, which is really cool. Like when you go back and play Mario 64, you're playing something that was developed almost 30 years ago, and it makes you kind of feel like you're back in that era.
Yeah.
So it's cool. The live service games have the issue that once they go away, they're just gone.
They're just gone.
If you try to you can't go back there anymore.
That's why I say if you commit up front to being you can get this.
Well, my thing is that this is another example of Nintendo doing something that at first I was like, oh wow.
You were happy about?
I was like, that is terrific. Nintendo did something that I liked. I was like, this is great. They're releasing Pocket Camp. It's gonna have all the stuff from everything that they've ever done, and you can access it in game. And it's gonna be it's like a brand new Animal Crossing for little old me who loves Animal Crossing.
Little old you.
Yeah.
And then they looked me in the face and said, "It's time to cry." You thought that you didn't hate us?
Yeah.
Well, you do. We're selling you a mobile game,
right,
for $20 a piece.
I mean, to be fair, you already bought it, so they're not selling you this game.
No, no. But anybody that does not have $9.99 in their pocket right now, okay, and will after January. Okay.
This is a really niche group that he's trying to justify for.
Listen.
You don't have 10 now.
Listen, honey.
You will have 10.
Honey, let me tell you something. There's been many times where I've had $10 in my pocket, but not 20.
Right.
There's been many times I've had $0 in my pocket, and not 10. Okay.
You should probably not be buying video games if you're that strapped.
That's pretty good point.
Right now, I had $10 in my pocket, and I bought Animal Crossing, and it was fine. I found out Nintendo was slime, and I tried to refund it. And you know what they said?
No refunds.
They said
Absolutely
no. They said
not.
no refunds.
I will say that is a 100% markup, which makes me very nervous for the price of Switch 2 games.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of
They're definitely going
69.90.
I mean, we could
$69.99
easily be pushing 80 before you know it.
Yeah,
Well, you never know how this market's
It's
going to go
possible.
because how long have we been stuck at the $60 range, right?
At least for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, like
Some
really,
years,
it jumped.
right?
It jumped up during the PS4
No,
era.
PS3 was the first consoles. whose
Oh,
games
that's right.
were-
PS3, PS4.
And
so it's
when-
usually like a 2-generation thing.
Well, it'd been at 50 and 60 for a very long time, and actually fallen way behind inflation. Other
Yeah.
things had increased more exponentially, and so
Yeah.
people are saying, well, 70 is just them catching up and
Sure.
not even fully catching up. But counterpoint, my paycheck didn't increase
Thank
That's
you.
the
by
big one.
that amount.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
the big one.
it doesn't matter. That
Well-
inflation was more. It doesn't.
People
Well,
used to make
well,
more
here-
percentile. Like it's crazy when you look back in Donkey Kong Country released for $100.
Yeah.
like that blows your mind. But at the time, people did make more on average than they do now.
Well, my
So,
point
like,
ultimately is that Mario Run was $10.
Yeah.
You could buy Mario
Yeah.
Run for $10.
You still can,
and
yeah.
you still can, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Why is Animal Crossing double the price of it?
because it's got so much
Content?
And, and
Yeah,
not to
content,
mention,
maybe?
they ran this for like 7 years. This is not an unprofitable game, so
Yeah.
it feels very money grubbing to do
Yeah.
$20 for mobile games.
guys,
So-
just go play New Horizons. I guarantee it's better.
Or go buy Animal Crossing Pocket Camp right now before the price.
yeah, quick,
increases.
Yeah.
quick.
That's
All
actually
99 of our viewers now know.
All 99 of our
Yeah.
viewers, if you each spend $1,
and I'm afraid there's
That's really well said.
and I'm afraid, viewer, that there is no way for someone to, and I'm not advocating for this, of course, G, help me out, but there is presently no way to play this game without Nintendo's consent.
Yeah, sure.
Are you sure about
that?
There is not right now because
John Cena.
it doesn't work on BlueStacks.
there is still online functionality that
sure.
you still have to connect to a Nintendo server to play it.
You had news.
Speaking of Nintendo servers, and it's kind of a loose segue, we got another trailer for the upcoming Xenoblade Chronicles X this week, and it looks real good. They fixed the biggest problem that game had, which was that you can't read any of the text in it, and it's an RPG. No, the new
That is a
UI
big-
looks gorgeous. The visuals look great.
Do you know I'm still just reeling that this is real?
It can't
Yeah,
believe it's
I know.
real.
Can you believe?
It's
I mean,
magical. They showed a new scale that transforms into a plane and rockets off because they can load
Oh, they're
terrain
putting
in
new
faster.
content.
Oh,
so
yeah.
this was a little
Wow.
ray of
Oh,
hope
yeah.
for me in a dark, deep chasm of misery that I'm usually in when it
Yeah.
comes to video games, because it was like maybe a month before they announced it. I was talking to Ethan, and we were talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I was like, they will never do this. They will never.
Seemed hopeless.
They will never release this again, because I want to say someone, maybe the director, said that they didn't expect
Yeah,
to get
it
a
was the
remake or
director,
something. And I was like, they're never going to do it, because Xenoblade Chronicles X was a Wii U game that was good, and they refuse.
Yeah.
They refuse. But look at this.
I know.
Here.
We are
We got
here.
it, and as you
somehow.
were saying,
It looks
they've,
gorgeous.
they've made great improvements.
It's the Xenoblade game that I made it the furthest into.
Yeah.
You didn't
Mind
beat.
you, I did not beat it.
You haven't beaten any of them.
I don't know if
I've only played. I'm not as. Look, I'm not gonna apologize. Okay.
Oh yeah.
apologize
I'm not a
right
Xenoblade
now to our
Right,
fans.
right. You know, and at least you beat Metroid Dread after approximately 4 years, 300 attempts, and you never beat Dread
easy
mode.
mode.
But you know,
I think I'm in the vast majority of people that didn't beat Dread mode.
Yeah.
yeah,
sure.
you're in the vast minority of brothers in this room who didn't beat Dread mode.
That's right.
To be fair,
I
but
refuse to believe Quentin beat Dread mode unless I have videographic evidence of it.
you won't even put up the cartoon dog in my hand, so I'm not
Pixar
sending
didn't
you
happen.
anything.
No, the one thing they haven't talked about with Xenoblade is the online functionality. I don't know if it's coming
Yeah.
back or if they've replaced it with something else.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just remembered on his point, I also couldn't send you the video of it because I played it illegally on my computer at 4K. I'm admitting, G, help me out. Get me out of
I
here.
actually give
G,
you an
please get him
advantage.
off the podcast.
You
yeah.
can't, you're going to have to you know,
you have more pixels. It's easier to see the hits coming.
Oh, that's
you know?
actually that's an
true.
advantage.
No,
You
okay.
cheated, cheater. Yeah,
But yeah, that is really exciting.
Yeah, I'm super pumped.
that's awesome.
So
Such a good game.
How long was the trailer?
the trailer, I think, was like 2 minutes, and then separately a separate channel. I think it might have been Nintendo Live or
Let's go to Game Explain
or Happy Console Gamer or something. Released like a 5-minute
analysis.
5 minutes of new footage.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
new footage.
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say analysis.
That was like a bunch of clips.
Because I know
Oh.
analysis channels will take a 2-minute
Yeah.
trailer
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
will be like
35 minutes.
they'll be like
Yeah.
in the very
Yeah.
background here. There's a pixel. Guess what? That's a
We
dinosaur.
got to see the new area.
Did you
The
know
new
that that's
area
a new
looks cool.
dinosaur?
There's a whole new area.
There appears to be. It appears
Wow.
like the.
They're doing
This
like a
is-
definitive
they're,
like.
yeah, they're also
upscale.
doing an epilogue because
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, wow.
Xenoblade
Really?
X ends on a pretty big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And that cliffhanger is in the first trailer for the Wii for the
Oh,
GameCube version
so
or for
they-
the Switch version, and then it just keeps going.
Yeah.
So
And the
they're
character who
definitely-
does,
okay.
we see a character who doesn't speak. They just speak in the trailer for this.
Oh,
That's
shoot.
a,
my God, like-
okay.
Spoiler alert for the whole Xenoblade franchise. Does X have anything to do with 1, 2, and 3?
We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's
in
there's
3 they
there are
kind of
the-
tie.
yeah, there
No,
are
I'll say that
theories.
there are
Oh,
there are certain implications
Yeah.
that
But
it's
not-
connected.
nothing
No, it does
direct.
now.
In
in
future
future
redeemed, there is
There's a
reference to
reference.
Xenoblade
I
X.
haven't played
Oh,
that.
okay.
Okay.
Because I know like Shulk and Rex show up in a DLC
Yeah.
up for 3, so I assumed the numeric ones.
Elmo does as well.
Did you just say Elmo?
Elmo.
Oh, Elma.
Elmo
Okay.
does.
Elmo.
I was just about to say. I was like,
X doesn't really have a
This
main
game.
character, but the closest is.
nightmare.
it doesn't have a main.
Listen,
character.
they're all based on Gnosticism,
Oh.
so they're all.
Did you know?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Crossovers.
Did you
there.
great science
Yeah,
All
they're
right.
great science fiction.
Anybody got any other news?
Didn't you want to talk about the googly eyes, Devin?
Oh,
The-
this is
what?
fun. This
You guys
is
making
fun.
fun of my face.
What? Oh my god.
Stupid.
This,
That
I
is
know,
ridiculous.
Ty.
Stupidest
The,
podcast
I was
ever.
gonna say this is so
This
stupid.
podcast so stupid. So this is just a rumor that I heard. I heard it from Arlo, the monster YouTuber.
The puppet guy.
But apparently, this is completely unsubstantiated. Could be just the biggest prank ever, which
Sorry
is
we
pretty
brought it
funny.
up.
no,
It's floating around on TikTok and Reddit, so it's almost definitely a prank.
Yeah,
No, I trust the puppet guy.
but it's
I've
pretty.
seen
It's
him.
pretty widespread.
He's blue?
Like, there's a lot of people who are reporting this in.
Yeah.
So you know how if you buy a Switch game, right, and it's in the Switch cartridge is in its case. If you rattle it, it jiggles a little bit. That case jiggles a little bit. Apparently, so do googly eyes. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding. No, the people are reporting that they're buying new Switch games from Best Buy and other places. And when they take the shrink wrap off and they open it up, and where their Switch game is supposed to be is a googly eye.
And we're gonna insert a picture of one of them here.
Yeah, we're gonna put.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a picture someone's claiming.
So-
They're claiming the idea they're putting forward is that someone on the factory line
Yeah.
is stealing Switch games and replacing it with a googly eye, because then when it's weighed and if you shake it to check that the game isn't there or whatever, the googly eye will.
Genius.
Okay,
will
so
replicate
first
it.
off, I don't believe for 1 second that a googly eye weighs the same as a Switch cartridge.
Switch cartridges are pretty light.
Yeah, and a googly eye could blow away just by me.
They're
Oh,
like
look, googly eyes blew
the
away.
the nickel-sized googly eyes, according to
It
the
could be.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what my thought is? Have they ever shown one that's like going to the store, shrink wrapped? You
Yeah.
know,
That's the thing is, as
No
of
one's
like
shown a
yesterday,
video
there's
of
no...
them opening it.
Yeah.
And
Well, to be
showing
fair,
it.
how many people record opening
Yeah,
their
who
video
unboxes
games?
their? Someone will now,
they will.
to try
Yeah.
to find it.
no, but this is so easy to fake.
It's
Is
so
my
easy to
point.
fake.
It's so
If-
easy
if
to
I-
Shrink wrap
I
your
could go
Switch case.
I could go and grab my Metroid Dread copy that I
that
purchased
he
at
legally owns.
the store.
Thank you.
The video game store, and
At
open it
the
up and
store.
put a googly eye at the video game stores.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally right outside their doors. I could just you sold me a googly eye. The video game store will never let me come back again.
Yeah.
Unrelated incident.
There
but, you know.
was a prank going
It
around
won't.
where anytime there was a Nintendo video, people would start commenting about water buffaloes.
I saw that. Yeah.
And that was because on a subreddit where speculation was running wild about the Switch 2, people were like, here's the picture of the leaked Switch 2 with a Switch 1 for size comparison. Here's a picture of the Switch 2 with like an Xbox for size comparison. And some guy went, here's a picture of the alleged Nintendo Switch 2 with a water buffalo for size comparison.
And it was accurate. Yeah.
And so now everybody's to get them to try and pressure Nintendo.
Isn't it a picture of water buffalo in a really small Switch 2?
Yeah, it's like the correct size.
Probably, yeah.
Well, I would rather have a water buffalo in my apartment than a Switch 2 personally. So
you don't know yet. You don't know yet.
You don't know that it's not.
So guys, if you buy a Switch game, you get a googly eyed. You got googly eyed,
and
it was
us
who
the
did
whole
it.
time.
It was me.
This is our prank.
I go to the video game store.
Yeah.
I open those up, take them out, put a googly eye in, re-shrink wrap them, make them look perfect.
And so and you do the glue and everything.
Everything.
He's really good.
I'm not allowed back in the game store anymore.
All right, guys,
just because there's children.
That was the Nintendo Switch 2 rumor section that used to be formerly known as the news.
Formerly known as the PlayStation 5 Pro rumor
Flash
section.
sale,
Formerly known as the Game Awards discussion section.
We all brought up Nintendo somethings.
So
I hate myself for it, to be honest with you.
You did it. You're part of the problem.
To be fair, I brought up something negative.
That's true.
But
that's your shtick.
We still talked about it.
I still talked about
it.
Yeah.
Free
guys,
advertising.
I'm excited. We've got an exciting next segment. It's not our typical segment. Actually, it was the same segment last week, but still.
But
it's becoming our typical segment.
Guys, we're doing.
It's easier to think of one idea than four.
He's giving it away. No, we're doing a deep dive on Megaman Legends. Guys, way back in the yesteryear of 1998, something horrible happened. Quentin was born.
I'm so sorry.
But in that same year, we were graced with Megaman Legends.
That's racist.
I think
I did the thing.
I did the thing again. My neck is no longer broken.
Actually, I might be wrong. It might have been 97. No, there's no way to verify because we don't have a producer who has
Meta doesn't fact check anymore.
97 in Japan, 98 in North America.
Boom.
And that's the PS1 version, I believe.
Correct.
Oh, I'm looking at the N64.
Because I was about to say, what was?
Are you sure? Just look at Mega Man Legends release date
there
USA.
There are 3 Mega Man Legends.
There should be Mega Man Legends, Mega Man 64, Mega Man Legends 2, and the Misadventures of Tron Bonne.
Yeah, we should establish we're talking about Mega Man Legends, which is also Mega Man 64. They're the same game.
They are the same.
Oh, then that's the one I looked at.
Okay, good.
Yep. 97 in Japan, 98 in North
America.
America.
That sounded like it was.
Yeah,
right.
64 did come out, I think, a few years later.
Yeah.
But it was like the year 2000 or something.
Mega Man Legends makes me hard.
There it is.
Just makes me hard.
Oh, it's his catchphrase, guys.
I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, that's it. He's going to be quiet for the rest of the details.
Sorry, nothing else to say.
He likes children in tin cans.
And what I mean by that, of course, is that like my muscles. I mean, I play the game and I feel strong.
Yeah.
Thumb muscles.
Yes, all of them. All the muscles. They feel hard. They feel strong.
No.
Because when I play that game, I go hard.
You know, what's funny is this is a game that famously did not perform well. It didn't sell well.
Not very good.
Is that right?
Sorry, we brought it up.
Sorry, we brought it up. No,
Man.
it didn't sell super well. I don't even know if it cracked 1 million in its first
first
few years. So there's a decent chance that if you're watching this, you haven't actually played it. We're talking about a game that maybe viewers have not really.
I feel like the second one probably did better than the first one.
I think it did worse.
I don't know what the analytics are, so I don't know what our average viewer base is. If they're under the age of 30, then they didn't play it.
I don't think Capcom has ever re-released this game.
On the PSP they did in
Japan only.
And also there was a
briefly it was on I think the PlayStation 3
I was about to say, was it not on the PlayStation Store? I was about to say, wasn't it on the PlayStation
It's not
Store?
on the PlayStation 5 store. I know that because I tried to go and buy it, but it's not on there.
You think it'll come to available on Windows in 2001?
Oh yeah, there was a Windows port of it. I forgot about that.
Man,
it's actually all of this is the perfect example of why Mega Man Legends failed.
Yeah,
it failed marketing, in my opinion, for 2 reasons. And the first one is exactly what we're talking about. This is the worst marketed video game.
Yeah.
Capcom's
Very
ever
poorly
put out.
marketed. Yeah.
Capcom will literally paste Monster Hunter across the side of a bus and then pay a Japanese man to stand in front of the bus screaming so that it gets on the front news of crazed man screams at Monster Hunter bus. Game looks pretty good.
$11
Right?
to set
Yeah.
himself on fire.
No, they'll pay a bus driver with that ad on the bus to drive through your house and try to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Right.
He drives in and says Monster Hunter.
They are like foaming at the mouth to sell some of their games.
Yeah.
And then they can't be bothered to sell others.
Well, and this is
and-
this is 97. Okay, Capcom.
Yeah.
They
We're
knew
even worse about it.
They should know.
Yeah.
We've got one thing here that's that we should be absolutely putting on the forefront of every magazine, everything in the world.
Street Fighter.
Is Street Fighter. Of course. Of course.
Pac-Man.
Well, actually, who's the guy who created Mega Man? What's his name?
There's a few people, but the artist who first created
producer
the
and
character was
director.
Keiji Inafune.
Inafune was talking about how at the time he was making Resident Evil and Mega Man Legends, and he was really passionate about Mega Man Legends and really passionate about Resident Evil, but I think he was just a producer or something.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil, like any third party, they're going to go where the money is. Resident Evil was flying off store shelves and no one even noticed Mega Man Legends because, like you said, they were not good about advertising.
Yeah.
And so, Mega Man 64 is also a good example because they ported it over to the N64, which back in the day, if you don't know, porting was really hard to do because the infrastructure for the consoles was so different.
Well, I mean, even now, a disc and a cartridge are not the same. By any means.
Well,
but the difference now is that basically everything is downloaded directly to the device, regardless of what you purchase.
Yeah, and there's a lot of similarity now between the types of hardware that get used. The PS5 and the Xbox Series are essentially the exact same hardware running a different OS. Now, they aren't the exact same hardware. Sure. They're the same kinds of hardware. It's like a computer with different kinds of graphics cards. And while the Switch is different, it's an ARM architecture, there's so much software out there to convert things from PC to ARM architecture.
Yeah.
And the Switch is not substantially different from your phone in terms of architecture. That wasn't the case back in the day.
No.
Back in the day, it was the Wild West. They were making
SGI,
custom chips for everything.
Yeah, SGI designed the N64.
Yeah.
And it was not running any kind. There was no other device that was just sort of similar to it. Like the Switch is similar to your phone.
Yeah.
The Xbox is similar to your computer.
Yeah.
The N64 was not structured anything like a PC of its era. There was nothing. So all of this just to say that they ported it over a few years later, and literally, like, I think maybe a few months or maybe a full year. I don't think it was a full year. They released Mega Man Legends 2 on the PS1.
Yeah.
So, like, who's gonna
timing.
Who's gonna go buy Mega Man 64 when Mega Man Legends 2 is the hot new thing that came out like a few months later?
A really big Mega Man fan who does not own a PlayStation.
Yeah.
You're describing Devin in 1998.
Because my thing is that Mega Man 64 I have not played. I've played Mega Man Legends. I don't even.
You
know
have in the sense that it's just Mega Man Legends,
but it's Mega Man Legends. But I'm guessing the
audio's not as good.
The audio quality is probably a little lower.
It's a funny comparison because because it's on the N64, which was more powerful. All of the models are much smoother. They don't have the PlayStation had this weird thing where the parts where the polygons touch,
they don't intersect
with jitter, and they don't intersect right. The 3D models in the N64 version don't have that problem, but then all of the textures are super low res because they had to be compressed.
But then does it load faster? And
it loads insanely fast.
Because I was about to say, I would think
basically
instantly
would read
way faster than disc.
For some reason,
which is not a
Capcom got excited and decided, like, bro, we can just have everything load in all at once because the N64 is really powerful. And it's like, why would you do that? So in the PS1, they did a lot of culling, where like when you go into a new area, the tanks that are like over on this side of the map, they don't load in.
Yeah.
On the N64 version, they just loaded them in. So the N64 version has frame drops.
so bizarre.
that the PS1 version
So they
doesn't.
basically completely wasted the increased power that they were.
I don't want to say they
dealing with.
wasted it just because there are a lot, like the load times are faster, and there are parts of the PS1 version where it did slow down, like when a lot happened on screen. That the N64 doesn't.
Yeah.
So, but they weren't able
There's
to
just a
put as
couple
much on the cartridges, right? So
They put the whole thing. It was just compressed.
No, but yes. So they have lower quality textures and audio is
And
basically
audio,
the
yeah.
only.
Yeah, that's the only downside. The
downside.
controls are a little bit smoother because you have a 3D analog stick, and the original was locked to the D-pad.
It didn't. That was pre-DualShock.
Pre-DualShock.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think they're both perfectly good versions,
Yeah,
whichever one you play.
get your hands on.
Yeah.
The Windows one.
The
Yeah.
The Windows one.
second problem I think the game had
Yeah.
to having mass appeal is something that almost every RPG in the same kind of genre has learned from, and more recently just does the opposite.
Mhm.
It starts off and on such a unbreakable rail that it's like, I want to say it's almost like 15 hours into the game, 10 or 15 hours into the game, where you can start really going where you want to. You have to clear like you have to clear the whole first tutorial, which is 15 hours of a lot of like cutscenes and talking.
Sure.
And if you get lost during that, that's because you won't
And
know
what game are
exactly
you
where to
saying?
go in Legends 1.
Legends one.
It's
I feel
like
the
I-
whole game is
yeah.
only about 15 hours.
Yeah, I was about to say. I
Yeah.
think Legends one is pretty short.
Le-
Legends one is pretty short.
What I'm saying is, like, if you don't know, I'm not saying like playing it from the perspective of knowing where to go.
I see what you mean.
I'm saying like if you drop in
Just
and you are
wandering
talking to all the
Yeah.
little villagers
Yeah.
that you come across and trying to figure the game out for the
Yeah.
first time,
Yeah.
it takes you a lot longer than just replaying it.
Sure.
Replaying it, it's like 15 hours long. But when you first play it, you get up to like the 5 hour, I want to say, mark.
Yeah.
It might be a little more accurate. You get to like the 5 hour mark where you're just starting to get the controls down. You've played around. You probably lost
Yeah.
a couple fights to some bosses.
Mhm.
There is very little side content until it just explodes and you
Yeah.
can go wherever you want.
Basically,
Well,
once
They
you
want you to get like, especially to that first Tron Bond fight.
Yeah.
The
when
first
they-
really
well, no,
big one.
As
where,
soon
like,
as
the
you
truck-
beat,
Yeah.
as soon as you beat Teasel,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
game just sort of opens up.
Yeah.
And it still directs you. Like it still
Yeah.
takes
Which-
you down a path.
I think we
and-
should talk a little bit about the game itself.
Yeah,
Um,
it's proof. We can segue from its poor sales. It's proof that a masterfully designed game that's just inherently fun and like beautifully designed doesn't necessarily always take off and sell super well.
No. It has
No.
more to do with its marketing than
And
anything, honestly.
It's beloved at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that if anyone is willing to revisit it, they're going to have great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I
but-
wish it was more readily available
Yeah. It's very hard to
Well,
get
because
it.
Here's-
if you're watching this and you haven't played it, it's not really that easy to get
There's
your hands
no
on it.
legacy collection for it.
No.
There haven't been any re-releases.
There needs to be.
There are some other ways.
There are other ways, and more to the point, if you play them via emulation with your legal copy
Yeah, that you
have
legally
purchased,
obtained.
your legally obtained PS1 disc,
Yes,
okay,
correct.
that you have dumped the files and the BIOS from your legally owned PlayStation.
Correct.
Emulating it is incredible
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everyone talks about the main thing they talk about is that it has tank controls.
Yeah.
Sure.
A lot of people complain about antiquated controls in Mega Man Legends.
Yeah.
They complain,
Especially the first one.
particularly the
Yeah.
first. They change things up in the second one, but
Because you
thinking-
can't move while
but
locked
thinking-
on in the first one.
Thinking about
No.
the first one,
And
A lot of
the
people-
the right stick on the the PS1 and the C buttons on the
That's what I
N64
was just gonna
controller
say.
don't move the camera. The
Being-
shoulder buttons do.
being able to adjust every aspect of the controls
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
smooth out those rough edges. Yes, you still stop when locked on, but to be able to control things more easily and just more comfortably with modern controllers,
Mhm.
the game feels so nice.
Feels really
It
good.
feels really
It
nice.
feels like an indie game. Like if
Yeah.
you've ever
Mhm.
played an indie game that's sort of emulating that old style,
Mhm.
it definitely feels like that because graphically it's aged like wine. Like compared to
stylistically, it's incredible.
Yeah.
yeah,
The little
com-
cartoon faces they use
because
are
the
great.
the
Yeah.
faces
So
were
it's very
really
expressive.
emotive.
Mhm.
And like at the time, a lot of developers really struggled to make characters like visibly emote. Like, you know how much I love Mario, and Mario 64 is my favorite game. but Mario's deadpan the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I'll say: he'll get like tired or like his eyes can sort of sag, but that's as much as he can do.
He's kind of a paper mache Mario.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part,
Mega
he is
Man-
wide-eyed. I mean, that dude is on 24/7.
You have to be.
He's. I gotta find the princess.
He really is.
There's a piano. It's alive. It's trying to kill me. Right?
He really is the terminal montage speedrunner.
He is.
He
Yeah,
is. His eyes.
Psychopath.
No, but
Mega
Mega Man, the characters in that can have like
They look
a vast array
not
of
just
emotions.
Not just Mega Man.
all of
Yeah.
Every single character in that game has so many nice, unique animations, and even the way the characters move in cutscenes. You look at them, and they are just so. I don't know how to even explain. They have got the timing of the motion so specific. It's almost like watching an old cartoon.
That brings up a good point, because the next thing we should talk about is definitely the characters, and
So
that
good.
Legends might have the best cast of the misfit side characters of any Mega Man.
If
game.
you've ever watched my favorite Ghibli film that I definitely know the name
your
of.
favorite Ghibli film.
No, if you've
What
ever
Ghibli
Castle in the Sky.
if you've ever watched Castle in the Sky, Laputa.
Right,
Castle in the
Laputa.
Sky. Is that the Castle in the
Howl's
Sky?
moving Princess Castle?
No,
The Castle of
Lot of
Cagliostro.
castles. No, if you've ever played that, the vibe
Watch it,
of the
yeah.
world, and I think you watched that.
Mhm.
The
Press
vibe of
play.
the world and the characters
Is
is
very
very
similar.
similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Very true.
Yeah.
Also,
what you're
Sky
saying
Pirates.
is that Hayao Miyazaki is a plagiarist
Yeah,
Yes.
obviously.
who stole from Inafune,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
or vice
Don't check
versa.
the dates on that.
when a dude
Right.
tells me, Mega Man Legends is my favorite video game, I immediately know they have a thing for older women.
Oh my god! You know, here's
Expand on that.
Wait,
Immediately.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Is
I
there-
don't like that I
can-
get what you're
You
saying.
know exactly.
No, no,
Okay,
I'm
yes,
sorry, I'm sorry.
but you know
I know
exactly what I'm
Is there-
talking about.
Is there any
Yeah.
way you could not call me out on this podcast? How about you quit mistreating me on the video game podcast?
Welcome to the
Here's
Fully
the
Quentin
thing.
podcast.
Oh my god!
Here's the thing.
That was scathing.
So many
I
people
can't
are
believe
like,
this.
"Oh my god, Mega Man and Roll! Look how adorable they are together."
Yeah.
And if you are just a fan of Mega Man games and you play it, that's what you walk away from. If this is your favorite game, you see Tron Bonne and you go, "Oh my goodness, I think I'm actually a pirate. I gotta join the. I gotta be a server. I
Yeah.
wish I was that server bot that she's got her boot on, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, there is a dominance aspect. to
yeah,
this.
she's
Yeah.
older than Mega Man, and
bit.
like she's
Yeah.
very aggressively chasing him after that first encounter.
And the serve bots. I mean,
Yeah.
there is.
Serbots.
They treat her like. No, here's the thing. The
They
serve.
can't though. They're Lego men.
The serve bots treat her like she's their mom, and
Yeah.
she is very dominating. I mean,
Yeah.
And they exist much like children. They exist to torture her.
Uh-huh.
just put
Which
yeah.
that's a good time to segue away from the
great.
weird.
Which, by the way, if you want to talk the adventures of Tron Bonne only furthers this
It's
problem.
incredible.
Not
No,
speaking
we're-
from personal
we'll get to that
experience,
game at a different.
but
deep
I'm just
dive.
saying that only furthers the problem.
No, the characters are so well written. They're so
Yeah.
funny.
Mhm.
They're
Well,
very
and-
alive. And I
And
gotta
the-
say,
and the voice acting,
It's great.
it's good.
The voice
Surprisingly
acting is not
good.
just good. The voice acting, it reminds me, it's kind of like it's almost like watching Peter Pan with like listening to Hook in the sense
Yeah.
that like how dramatic some of the voices are.
Yeah.
And
Teasel is great.
Especially the Bond.
Teasel's
Teasel
so good.
I think all of the Bonds. I mean, I think all the voice acting is
In
really
the
good
first one,
in
all the
first
voice
one.
acting is really good. Mega Man's voice is horrible in the second
Well,
one.
thankfully, we're not
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
that
We're
game.
not talking
No.
about that game.
We're
right
talking
now.
about Mega Man.
I love
Legends.
Mega Man's voice in the first game because everybody's really great, but he's so Canadian.
Canadian, yeah.
He's
I
so
knew
Canadian.
Knew exactly
Yeah.
what you were.
Because
A
every
boot- a
time
boot?
he's like, "What's this about?" Like, Rule, are you okay? Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's trying so
he,
hard.
Like, is this robot Canadian?
Yeah.
Are
He's not
all
a robot.
robots?
He's
Well,
a carbon.
He's
not
a
robot.
carbon.
All the people are carbons. But
They're
those
all
are just, those are just clones.
Tell you what,
Oh, fair.
well, no, they
Spoilers.
they're silicon based humans though.
No, they're not silicon
Right?
based. They're carbons.
Oh, you're right.
Well, actually, no.
No, but they are. I think they are.
I think
they
he
are.
says he's a
All right,
machine.
hang on, kids. Okay,
I think
so
they are
there
hyper-advanced
elemental.
machines, right?
There are elements upon which
Here
things
we
are
go.
based.
Okay.
So things like rocks, trees, you, me. The most fundamental element to us is carbon.
That's some science talk.
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
When
but,
you look at
We'll run you
metal
out of town.
or like the wiring in your house.
But aren't the
it's based on silicon?
No, but aren't the carbons? Aren't they silicon based?
Anywho,
You
no,
get it?
Ty's gonna start bleeding
It
out
was
of his
also
ears.
a time when spin-offs were like, it was the golden age of spinning off. You know,
it was kind of like almost a necessity for you to spin off and
Yeah.
make something other than your main line because it wasn't gonna. Because at the time, everything was moving towards 3D. Mario headed that direction. Zelda headed that direction.
Yeah.
And those games lead the way.
Well,
like
it was
they almost always do.
I mean, it was an incredible period for video games.
Yeah.
it
I
was.
mean,
It was like the. It
Look
was,
around this room. You'll
Yeah.
see
You'll see-
people who got some
yeah.
incredible stuff during the very close
Yeah.
to that period.
Yeah.
And so, like at the time, the original Mega Man series was still going. The very popular Mega Man X series was going, but they were not transitioning. They were just iterating.
Yeah.
They were just making bigger, better versions.
Yeah.
And understandably, I think Capcom and Inafune in general were like, we want a 3D action game because that's the future.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me that they nailed it so well that
Yeah.
it's such an expansive game, because that's a hard. To be fair, you could argue that it doesn't play much like the original Mega Man
It's
game.
not.
No, not
my
at
my
all,
biggest
but-
criticism of it is that it has nothing in common with Mega Man games.
It's basically not a Mega Man.
Well,
It's an incredible game.
I'm
and
gonna
it
say
shouldn't matter,
I'm gonna say
but-
that that's the opposite, which is that I'm
little
so
closer.
glad that it is nothing like the other Mega Man games.
Me too.
Because here's my thing. The edgy 2000s boy in me wants to only play Mega Man 0. It's the only game I want to play.
Sure.
All right? Mega Man 0, banger, banger, banger. Okay? Great games.
Right. Arguably the best in that.
Of that style. I will 100% pick Mega Man Legends over Mega Man 0
Sure.
as far as my replays go. Just because I want something that's not like Mega Man. I want Mega Man Legends.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was-
made its own thing.
It was
It's
a
its own
spin-off,
name.
but ultimately I feel like that worked against it in some ways because people maybe looked at it thinking like expecting to see a Mega Man game if they were
Mhm.
fans, and they got this thing
Well,
that was
it
wildly
worked
You
against
can kind of pick up Ocarina of Time just as a Zelda fan up until that
Especially
point and
Ocarina.
go, oh, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
To be
This
fair,
still makes
that
sense.
one is almost a
Zelda,
remake of A Link
Yeah.
to the Past. So
It's
if you're
very
familiar
similar.
with A Link to the Past, you're gonna get kind of.
But I mean, like
yeah,
the way the game
structurally-
plays is so similar.
structurally it's
When you
similar.
I remember picking up Mega Man Legends for the first time and being like, "What is the boss's weakness? I've tried all of my weapons on him, and he's not
Very
taking extra
heavy,
damage from
heavy.
any of them."
Uh-huh.
They don't do that.
It's not
Um,
a thing.
And I was like, there was literally a part you can buy. This might have been in the second one, but there was a part you could buy that said Charger on it, and I was like,
Yeah.
finally, I get to charge my Buster like Mega Man X. No, you don't. It
So
just
it was
makes
something
your
else.
energy charge
Yeah.
higher on the stat. And I was like, I don't understand this game because it says Mega Man, but I can't map anything I know from Mega Man onto it. So
none of your knowledge carries over.
yeah,
Yeah.
none of it carries
Yeah.
over.
It's
Which
kind of
again-
it's kind of a gradient.
Which isn't to
Well,
the game's
no,
detriment
it's not
from
bad.
a quality standpoint. I just think that might have
Retention
been from like a
of-
Well,
sales
listen,
standpoint.
It may have been a detriment to sales, but it was a benefit in my heart.
Yeah.
Okay, because guess what? Mega Man Legends, I'm gonna say, is my favorite Mega Man
Same.
game. Period.
Same. Yep.
And I think Mega Man is
Legends 2 is my favorite.
See, okay, that's actually a good question I was going to
Yeah.
ask. Who here is a Mega Man Legends guy, and who here is a Mega Man Legends 2 guy?
I prefer 2, but that might have to do with the changes they made to the core gameplay.
All right,
honestly.
2,
Like,
2. Ethan, Mega Man Legends 1 or 2? What do you prefer?
Well, I'm gonna say something a little controversial.
Oh gosh, you already
Um,
have.
I'm not the biggest fan of Mega Man Legends,
Well,
Get off this deep
yeah,
dive.
I don't
No,
know
I'm
what
just
you're doing
kidding.
here.
but
No, but which
I-
one of the two?
so the reason that it's tough for me to say is because I bounced off the original so hard when I
Oh.
originally played it
Uh huh.
that I didn't have a great experience with it. Didn't have like a lot of fond memories of the very first one. And then when I played the second
tutorial took him 15 hours.
the tutorial took me 15 effing hours.
God, that is bad. I would also have a bad experience.
I really struggle with games that have like difficult movement controls.
Yeah,
Which
this
is
is
the
the king
original.
of that.
Pretty
yeah,
clunky.
because
The second one, not so much.
The second one, not so much. And so I played the second one and loved it, and it's one of my favorite Mega Man games. And then I went back and played the original, and I was like, once I was good enough to like kind of understand the original, I beat the second one. I had a better time, but the whole time I'm playing it, I'm just going like, these controls are so bad.
You know,
I just said like
yeah.
because I now have the second one to compare it to, I understand it enough. That being said, I still think 2 probably is I like better.
Yeah.
But I wound up liking 1 a lot more. But it's so hard to judge because
So,
I
like,
didn't have a very.
so
There's
yeah,
no. I have
it's
no
close.
clean
So-
experience of 1.
So did you go
Right.
back and play 1 again after
Yes.
having that bad experience? And
Yeah.
it was a better experience.
It was a good
for you on
experience.
replay.
It was a good experience, but it was like it felt like it was an impure experience in the sense of like. It's tainted by the fact that I've already played 2, and it's tainted by the fact
I
that
see what
like
you're saying.
the
You're going
control.
back.
I'm having to like adapt to controls that now I'm understand, but I know the better way these controls work in the next
So
game.
here's something that I think is relevant here, because I'm now the only person on this panel who likes Mega Man Legends 1 better than Mega Man Legends 2.
And I should stress that for me, it's pretty. It's like it's
close.
neck and neck. It's not like 2 is just.
Who here prefers the original Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2?
Ooh, that's too hard. Let's not
this-
get too
no,
far
but
off
this
topic.
This is relevant. No, this is relevant.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, I think, are a perfect analogy for Mega Man Legends and Mega Man Legends 2, because Kingdom Hearts 1 is
A game that
original.
You've probably played, viewer.
Kingdom Hearts 1 is original.
Yep.
It's so pure.
Mhm.
It's universally loved.
Yeah.
Okay. But most people agree that the second one handles a lot better, has better controls, plays better, is more fun, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Not as well liked in terms of story.
You can't catch that lightning in the bottle again. Where like the first time I ever played the first Mega Man Legends, that sense of like childlike wonder and like your mind was blown. That's why it's hard for me to say that I like 2 better, because like you can't catch that feeling again of playing the original. 2 wasn't the same way. For me, the reason 2 kind of edges it out is just because Mega Man Legends 2 is kind of just Mega Man Legends more. You know, like there's more side quests, there's more areas.
Yeah, no,
the
I see what you
controls are
mean.
better, and like the thing is that when I go back to Mega Man Legends 2, it hits me right in the feels. We can't end this deep dive without talking about the music.
The music is so good.
There's never been
the Apple market. I mean, if you listen, anybody watching this, go listen to the music from the market in Mega Man Legends.
It lives rent free in my head.
Lives rent free in my head.
It
Absolutely love
There's
it.
never been a cozier soundtrack.
No.
And they still have good action set pieces and stuff. But like, I listen to the music all the time just to chill.
Yeah, and
Just
cozy
to-
visuals too. You know, when you walk into a house in Mega Man Legends, you are just like, oh, this is. I want to just.
Yeah.
I want to live here.
One of the
I'll go
staples
sleep on their floor.
of a game.
It's a very little kid thing to do.
It's true. I want to take a nap on the floor.
I want to take a nap on the floor of this clothing store.
Ty is perpetually in a toddler mode.
Yeah, exactly.
But Mega Man Legends returns him to that state. But here's my
Doesn't
thing.
it all?
But
it does it to us
Mega
all.
Man Legends has such cozy environments, and one of the things that I love about any of my top 10 games, I would say, have this feature where I want to walk around every single area and just look at it.
Is
right?
it fun to move around?
Is it when, I want to look at every single detail. I want to look at what the textures are on the
I
wall.
want to lick everything I see.
Everything I see. My
Mega
name is
toddler
Hippopotamus.
energy.
That might
Okay.
actually be part
I
of
love
why
it.
I like 2 better, even on the
More
replay,
lickable.
is that like if you remember like into when the first area you go to is like this really snowy, like
Oh, I
Russian
love
looking
it.
area.
I love it.
It's fantastic. But then
can't
there's like
see
a
very
desert
far
as
through
well. There's one dungeon where there's a Reaver bot that's gigantic, and you'll just see like its eye pass the room.
It's
that's
so
in it.
good.
The visuals and the variety of them in 2. I love the island from the original game.
Yeah.
But there was just something about
Catalogs,
I remember one time I was trying to get the side quests done, and I needed to like go get some more of the zenny, right? So I land in that Arctic area, and I just love the environment there. I love like the characters, the like guy who's got like robot arm working on the like machinery there outside of town. Just great characters. And I went out on the train tracks to go to the abandoned mine, and while you're walking out there, you'll just see Reaver bots in the snow watching you. And I'm like, and the music kicks in. And I'm like, this is an unreal experience.
We've
really
been
handle
talking about how
atmosphere in this.
cozy the original Mega Man Legends is. But you know what's amazing is that the dig sites and the Reaver bot
Terrifying.
caverns are actually really scary.
I mean,
spooky,
no, I'll tell you what's really scary is the gates. In the first game, because it's like an underground city.
I guess that's what I mean. Yeah,
the gates are like an underground city, but there's little pinpricks of light above that look like stars. Like the skybox looks like stars, and it gives the implication these are like stage lights that are just suspended so far above you, and that makes you realize, oh, I'm really underground, right?
And the fact they really play off of the fact that you can the game uses spatial sound, so you can hear a Reaver bot going like getting closer to you. And I'm a full blown adult.
I was just about to say, you just gave me chills.
Playing this on like a Retroid Pocket that I legally acquired my copy. It's right there.
It's right there.
And I like I have headphones on and I get goosebumps and get scared
too. But there are some there's some really interesting design with enemies, because a lot of video games that went from 2D to 3D really struggled with making enemies that were actually tough.
Yeah.
Because like if they're too competent, they'll just dumpster you, and if they're too incompetent, you just like walk slightly to the side and kill them.
If all the Stalfos attack you at once, you couldn't beat Ocarina.
Which that's another thing about Mega Man games up till this point is that the enemies ranged from cool guys to cute guys.
Yeah.
And Mega Man Legends said our enemies are going to be so scary. Every single one, like look at every Reaver bot design,
but
terrifying.
Also adorable.
But
also kind of cute.
Well,
like
the very adorable.
The very first one,
I think the little little trash can Reaver bots are pretty cute.
Into that eye freaks me out.
They do have a weird eye.
So guys, what's some of your closing thoughts on Mega Man Legends? Let's go in a nice circle.
Meg of Man Legends.
Yeah, Meg of Man.
One of my favorite games ever.
Same.
It literally just checks off almost every single box, and I don't really care that the controls are not exactly what I would want 100%. I think that they're okay, and I love games that are cozy, and that first game is incredibly cozy, has super expressive characters. I wish they made a cartoon out of it. Also,
it's amazing.
Play the Misadventures of Tron Bonne. It's
also
really
play
good.
the whole series, guys. It doesn't take that long, and it's incredible. And then write a letter to Capcom and telling them
read the tutorials instead of spending 15 hours trying to.
Don't pull any.
Maybe download a guide.
Do not go in circles for 15 hours.
Yeah, I can't really say much more than what you said, because like it's one of my favorite video games of all time. The original Mega Man Legends or Mega Man 64, whichever. There's no game that takes me back to like I'm a kid, it's fall, all my family is visiting, and you're just in this nice little like blanket fort playing a video game. There's no video game that just instantly takes you back to that more than Mega Man Legends.
Well, and I would like to add just real quick to mine that the proof of a truly incredible game for me is that I can beat it and immediately play it again.
Yeah,
and that's not hyperbole. I mean literally see the credits for Mega Man Legends and go, I feel like playing this again, because it's just such a comfortable game for me that I'm like, I can literally just on repeat.
Yeah.
I think that Mega Man Legends was kind of it was a perfect reflection of the time in which it was released. It was released right in between Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, which are these kind of two hallmarks of 3D games. And Mario 64 was kind of the prototype of how a 3D game should be made, and Ocarina of Time was the final dot on that template that they're writing out. And so it was this time of experimenting with all of these ideas, and especially the PlayStation, which had a lot less power to deal with. We got things like Crash Bandicoot, I think it's even better exemplified in Mega Man Legends, where it has all these rough edges. Yeah. And sometimes it's not as much fun to just like control the character. But the ideas of like, this is how a 3D game should function.
Yeah.
Were so far ahead of their time. And that's why I think it has lasted the test time, where you can play it and enjoy it, even if you don't like the tank controls.
Sure.
The ideas are so strong. The characters are charming. The music is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's just a moment in time. You're looking through the looking glass back to this time when the video games were kind of a Wild West, and they were figuring it out as they went along.
Because it wasn't a live service game.
That's true.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
So it's really funny.
We're out of time.
I had
next to that. No,
it's really funny. I had this experience coming like right up until the point where you texted saying, "Hey, it's going to be a deep dive about Mega Man Legends." Is that 3 different like things I was watching all referenced Mega Man Legends?
Oh wow!
Well, I was listening.
And one of the those was before.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
One of them, I was just listening to this podcast, and the 2 guys on it were talking, and one of them started talking about like making like dark side decisions and referenced KOTOR, and then the other one said, or like in Mega Man Legends,
if you kick the pig,
when you kick the can around too much, your armor becomes darker.
That's 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2.
You kick the pig around,
and it was the other one.
If you kick that pig around in Mega Man Legends 2,
you're a monster.
You're a crazy person.
You're crazy.
The only penalty is you get slightly more in shadow, but you're still a monster.
The other one referenced something else, and they were talking about a feature in RPGs, and they were like, mentioned, well, I wonder where that started, and someone popped in with, oh, that started in Mega Man Legends. And at some point I realized like a lot of stuff in some raw form was in those first 2 games.
Absolutely.
And it kind of made me think that like you don't need to be popular or successful to be great. Mega Man
That's
Legends,
a really good
it doesn't
point.
have...
That's very well said.
Like, Mega Man Legends does not necessarily have the mass appeal of a lot of what we think of as, like, the great things.
Yeah.
But just because it's more niche doesn't mean it's not phenomenal, but also influential. Lots of people played that game
massively.
and imagined what would come next, and it never happened. No more Mega Man Legends games.
Right.
The first 2 come out like back to back, basically, and then there's just no more. And so a lot of people have been like taking pieces from that and making new video games out of them.
Yeah,
it's
like
very influential, despite being like pretty esoteric.
It doesn't matter. Being influential isn't a matter of how many people play your game. It's a matter of, did the right people play your game?
Yeah.
And that means me.
Capcom, hurry up and make a Mega Collection for the game.
Remake these games.
No, and
make a sequel.
Make a Mega Man Legends 3. I mean, everybody...
Do it, coward.
Make Mega Man Legends 3, but make a collection so that our viewers
sell
can easily
Mega.
access.
Capcom, sell Mega Man.
Just give it to
please. Give it to
please.
somebody
Just
else.
sell Mega Man.
Yeah, but here's my thing.
Sell it to me. I'll do more with it.
R.I.P. Matt Vagabond. We all know who he was supposed to be.
I was just about to bring
Shout
up
out to you, Matt.
Vagabond. Matt Vagabond, who of course was going to be in Mega Man Legends 3.
But we can't get into that. We're out of time.
We're out of time.
We're out of time.
We'll have a deep dive on Mega Man Legends 3.
Actually, we should do
some
that.
point.
Listen,
it didn't
everybody,
exist, but...
write Capcom, write your congressman, call your congressman, call Xi Jinping, get Mega Man Legends 3, please.
I
Guys,
vote
Mega
for
Man
any
Legends.
politician who ran on a campaign of get Mega Man Legends 3. It does not matter
if Tim
what
Walls,
else your platform is.
If Tim Walls had
All
brought
right?
that up
Oh, no.
instead of Crazy Taxi, we'd have a different
Different
have a different
world.
Whole different timeline.
We'd be living in a different timeline.
All
So
right.
yeah, go play Mega Man Legends if you have.
Do it.
Speaking of games,
We got a power-up game, guys, a classic one, and I'm not being facetious when I say classic. This is an actual classic one. We're playing more or less PS1 edition.
It's time for everyone's least favorite game. Questions you don't know the answers to, but have strong opinions about.
All right, guys,
That is
welcome.
kind of what this game is.
Welcome to More or Less PS1 Edition. This is a numbers guessing game. Here's how it works. Each question has one player will be the guesser, and the other 2 players will be the doubters. I'll ask a question to the guesser. He will tell me it's a numbers-related question. He'll tell me the number that he thinks that is. Then the doubters will say whether they think the actual number is more, less, or spot on. If a doubter is correct, he gets a point. If a doubter is wrong, the guesser gets a point. There's 3 rounds, 3 questions per round, and whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. And it's a Devon game, so there's bonus stars, baby.
Oh God!
And they're not going to make any sense.
Oh God! There's bonus stars, Ethan. Yes.
dear
Hey,
Lord.
did you know
It's
that there's
over.
bonus
I did.
stars?
It's Joe.
Gotta be a
Boys.
healthy element of chaos.
There is, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Producer Rachel, the lovely Rachel, will keep score. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, round 1. Quentin. The PS1 was famous for many games, but one of them was a little Mr. Crash Bandicoot,
Crashy Bandicoot.
or as Cat Icarus calls him, Cash Banuka.
I literally don't even know any of the words you
How
just said.
many copies did the original Crash Bandicoot sell?
Oh man.
In the millions.
Yeah, right.
I'll throw you that bone.
I'm gonna say. Okay. I'm gonna say it sold 13 million copies.
13 million copies. All right, now the doubters have to give me their answer on the count of 3, 2, 1, boom. You guys ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, boom. Ooh, they both said less. Now,
The
Quentin,
group.
as the guesser, if they're both right, they both get a point and you get nothing.
Yeah, I know.
But if they're both wrong,
Mm.
you get 2 points.
Oh.
We changed it up from last time. You guys are
Well-
all sore about that.
Well, I'm not getting 2 points.
All right, what do you guys... Ethan, tell us why you think it's less.
I seem to remember the first one not having like a blowout sale,
Okay.
and then like the second one putting them on the map as like
Yeah.
real competition.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Also, I remember the first one being kind of hard to find. Like no one I knew
I
had
was
a
too
copy
young
of
to
it.
really know about like market availability.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't think you were alive.
I was too young.
Okay. Yeah.
didn't
Too
lie.
young. All right. So, how many copies did the original Crash game sell? Quentin said 13 million. Both you guys said less. The correct answer, 6.8 million. Point for the doubters.
Games just didn't sell as much in general back
No,
then.
they
Nowadays,
didn't.
a game is a flop if it doesn't sell 1 million units, and it's like
Yeah.
back then they were like, we got 100,000
Well, I was
sales.
thinking,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was thinking like Crash.
They were more
Bandicoot,
like
that's
toys.
The game.
I do
Yeah.
remember the second
Yeah.
one selling a lot better though.
They probably
Like you
did.
could, it was
think you're right.
everywhere.
I think you're right.
I think the
All
second
right,
hand.
well,
All right.
Not a good start
Next.
for
Yeah.
this guy.
Little rough start for Quentin, but don't worry, you'll come back.
Dandy Boy's gonna have a comeback. Trust me.
Dandy
You get
boy.
all the
All right,
bonus stars.
Ethan, are you ready?
Sure.
Now you know this style of question. It's been
Right.
in every single more or less. 3D models are made up of polygons, and those polygons are made up of tries.
Right.
How many tries does the original Crash Bandicoot model have?
What is in my pocket?
harder.
Why do you always
Way harder.
What?
I
is
feel
in
like you
worry.
my
always give
pocket?
Ethan a polygon question.
You give him something horrible.
I give Ethan some detail that you would have. There's no way to look it up.
No.
There's no way to look it up. I know because I download the model
How many
and then
does
count.
Mario have in Mario 64?
Like 700 something. The number's right here.
Right.
Should the host be giving information?
I mean Mario.
No,
I
that's,
should tell him
that's
Mario.
what we
Additional
talked
to-
about. I don't want to like guess some stupid massive number because I don't. know
Yeah,
what
sure. You want the
tries
ballpark.
are.
You want the ballpark.
No, I seem to remember Crash Bandicoot having. You said the original Crash Bandicoot, right?
The original Crash Bandicoot. How many tries are in his model?
I actually think he has 500.
500. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Ethan said 500. You guys ready, doubters? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Oh, he split the group.
You split the group, so you're guaranteed a point because they can't both be right. Ty, why do you think it's less?
The PlayStation was not the beast that the N64 was in terms of rendering capacity, and in particular its CPU. So I'm thinking that it probably wouldn't have as many tries as a Nintendo 64 model.
Okay. All right.
You want to know why I chose it? Because
No.
you are a monster who ask Ethan the absolute worst questions imaginable.
It's a meme now.
You literally, you will
We
look
made
at
a
him
Rain
as,
Man joke, and then you give him a thing
You will
about
literally-
counting triangles in a polygonal
You'll-
model from
your
40
time is
years
coming.
ago.
You'll look at it. One of
Your
these days,
time
you're
is
gonna say,
coming.
"How many polygons do you have?" Okay, how many do
No,
you
Ethan's
have?
eventually is going to be Ethan. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 1 million. What
Tell
number?
me, how many hairs
Look,
do I
you're
have on
not
my
guessing
head?
the numbers, guys. You're playing.
Oh
you're
my
playing
God.
the other players.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, how many tries are in Crash Bandicoot? I almost said Crash Bandicoot. Trash Panda.
You're
Trash Bandicoot.
Trash Bandicoot. How many
Pandacoot?
tries are in Crash Bandicoot's model in the original, which is the same in all of them?
I said more.
Ethan said 500. Quentin said more. Ty said less. The correct answer: 732.
Oh.
He was close.
All right. Ethan and Quentin both get points.
I remember that like Crash had way more tries in the lower half of him for some weird reason.
Yeah,
upper
because
half-
the geometry had to move and bend more. His top
Yeah.
half doesn't move at all in the game.
Which now it would be insane to not put more tries on the face of your character.
He's a fairly
Because-
complex model for the
Yeah.
for the.
Then again, you
yeah.
always
Yeah.
see him from behind.
True.
And his legs are the thing moving. The top
Yeah.
doesn't.
This is for historical reasons, but the project for Crash Bandicoot was called Sonic's Ass because you're staring at the back of
It was.
And he's
Mascot
wearing blue
character.
jeans.
That's the next polygonal question. How many tries on
All right,
Sonic's
Sonic's
ass?
All right, Ty, you ready for your question?
Yes.
Sure.
Crash Bandicoot games are famous for breaking box crates. In fact, the way that it's measured at the end of each level is how many crates did you break?
I don't even believe this.
How many crates total are in the original Crash Bandicoot game?
Are these all going to be Crash Bandicoot questions
I
for
hate
starters?
you.
Also, what a weird.
You know what you're doing to me.
Ty, you're playing the
I
other
hate
people.
you.
Come on.
All right. There are there's only about 100 crates in a level. There are in the original Crash Bandicoot, I think there's like 30 levels total. And so I'm going to say somewhere in the vicinity of 400.
400. Okay. What a stupid answer.
Rounding
No,
up
I'm
a
just
little
kidding. All right, you guys ready?
Wait a second.
Ty said
hold on.
400. All right, you guys ready, doubters? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Split the
You
group.
split the group. You definitely get a point. Somebody's wrong. Quentin, why do you think that it's less than 400?
So when Ty was explaining his answer as to why he thought it was what it was, I started thinking about this multi-ethnic girl that I know, and honestly, the question was gone. I don't even know what the question was. So when it came up to an answer, you said more or less was my options here, right? More or less,
spot on.
or spot on. Well, guess what? I was thinking about your question a lot less than I should have.
All right.
See how I did that?
So,
Interesting.
how many boxes total are in the original Crash Bandicoot game? Ty said 400. Quentin said less. Ethan said more. The correct answer is 250.
Oh.
Not that many in the first
Not
game.
that many.
The average per level
like
is only
30.
about 15.
Remember when I said
Yeah.
Dandy Boy was making a
I
comeback?
thought there was
Right,
some
Quentin,
bonus
he's
stages.
He's on the board.
I'm on the
Quentin
board.
and
First
Ty both
points.
get a point.
Dandy Boy's got 2 points.
I thought there
now.
were like 100 boxes per stage.
2 points?
2 points.
I knew
You
that
got the
was
last one.
right.
Yeah,
I
he
thought there
I
were
got
more
2
than 30
points.
stages, and I thought there were
I have full
super
confidence in you, Rachel.
You should.
You should.
All right, Rachel. That's the end of round one, guys.
All
What
right.
What are the standings?
That one was Quentin and
Tie.
Ty.
Yep.
It is a 3-way tie.
Really?
Oh.
2 and 2 and 2.
We're turning up the heat. All right, this
I can't believe
round,
this.
the beginning of round 2. We ready? We're starting with Ty this time.
All right.
Why?
Ty, you see that
Back
little?
to back.
Well, I was about to
You
say
see
back
that
to
little
back.
guy?
Why wouldn't you?
You
Yeah.
see that little guy right
Yeah,
there?
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. Yep. You
Wait,
got it.
Are you talking about Mario?
No, we're talking about Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, what does this
Skylanders.
Does this
Yes.
guy you were talking about have a stupid name for him too?
Actually, he probably does.
It's
probably
Scarecrow.
Spyro.
Spearmint the
remember.
Dagon.
That's actually pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right, Ty.
I think it's pretty good. Pretty good.
In Spyro the Dragon, you collect little gems around each world. to buy moves and to access different areas. In the original Spyro game,
So stupid.
what are the total number of gems you can collect?
Of
All
course,
right,
you did him
Spyro's a
back-to-back.
pretty beefy game. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say 60.
60.
Final answer.
Okay. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ethan, Doubters ready?
Yeah.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Up, you didn't split the group.
Oh well.
They both said more. Ethan, why do you think it's more?
It's
I
almost
seem
certainly
to remember
more.
the money bags guy. The first money bag thing you have to give him was 1,000.
It was 100.
Yeah.
It's 100, right? Isn't it? 100?
Right.
No, I was
the
gonna say
big
it's
the big
100.
one's 100.
Kind of gave it away, but at the same time,
No, but
I had to restrain laughter.
both
and you've
me-
already guessed.
But I was gonna
so.
say both me and Ethan remember money bags because
Yeah.
When you said
100.
60, I was like, don't laugh.
those gems?
Don't laugh.
100.
All right, you
just
guys ready for
the
this?
Firefly just grabs him as you're walking
Those.
around.
I thought that you were talking about the rewards for like
There-
the levels.
There's
It's been a
no
long
gym
time.
reward for the
There's no-
level.
You
No.
should have thought about the
Time.
question more.
All right. So for the question, how many gems are in Spyro?
At least I did say at least 60.
I said 60. Ethan and Quentin both said more. The correct answer was 3,260.
You were
four.
Hey.
Close enough.
All right, so me,
Ethan-
the final
Ethan
money
and
bags
Quentin.
one.
me. Okay, so
The final one's 1,000.
we
Yeah,
get the
correct.
point.
Yeah.
Tie.
They both get the points.
That was a
Ty
weird
gets
one.
above
You know what?
because-
Fall on your sword, Ty.
Here's
shameful.
here's the thing. Devin is
Okay.
asking us
Yeah.
the most torturous questions.
Uh-huh.
Here comes your turn,
Oh,
Quentin.
I can't
You ready?
wait! I can't wait.
My answer was a protest.
Question
against that.
2. Here comes Quentin. You're the guesser.
How many Spyro games are there?
How many Spyro games? No, I'm just kidding. The original Spyro sold how many copies? In the millions.
Softball questions.
In the millions. The original Spyro.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Ethan's question. Quentin.
well, you got.
Well, then I'll go for it then.
Why don't you just
Yeah.
go next?
Yeah, you
then?
just go then.
How
Okay.
many- okay.
I
In the
think
millions.
the original Spyro sold, I want to say like 2.5 million.
Okay, 2.5 million.
Yeah, 2.5 million. I think is about right.
Okay. I'm gonna start doing final answer just in case you're like just saying that's your final answer.
Yep, that's a final
Okay.
answer. Yep.
Doubters, are you ready? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. You didn't split the group. Ty, why do you think it's more than 2 million?
Because there are 3,000 gems in this game. How could they afford so
Yeah.
many gems if the game wasn't selling one?
That is a lot of gems.
There's his logic. All right. So,
100 in the first bag.
how many copies did the original Spyro sell? Ethan said 2 million.
At least 6.
Ty and Quentin think it's more. The correct answer is 4.8 million.
Oh.
We got our points.
Ty
I knew
and
it was
Quentin
less
get
than
points.
Crash Bandicoot.
Oh
but-
wait,
It was less.
we got our points, and I think we're still tied. So
I think so.
I think no problem.
No, I think Quentin's
No,
pulled
Quentin-
ahead.
Quentin has pulled ahead.
Yeah, Quentin's pulled ahead.
Dandy Boy is back on the
Dandy
board.
Boy's
All right, Quentin,
back.
you ready for your question?
I'm ready to be not on the board again.
3D
Let's hear it.
models are made up of polygons,
No.
and polygons are made up of tries. How many tries is Spyro's model made up of?
I knew it.
Here under protest is Quentin. Okay. How many tries is Spyro's model made up of?
Correct.
What you guys don't see is the 3 shotguns that Devin has, like,
Yeah,
loaded in.
just out of
Aim
frame.
precariously out of frame,
Yeah.
holding us hostage. I'm gonna say so. Coot Bandicoot, whatever. What did you call him?
Cash Banuka.
Trash Pandacoot.
Yeah,
Trash Pandacoot.
Bandicoot
It's the best one.
had
That one's pretty good.
almost 800.
Correct. 732.
Man, I'm gonna say that is actually really challenging. I'm going to say that Spyro has 900.
900.
I'm gonna say he is ever so slightly more
Okay.
more advanced.
Final answer. Okay. All right, doubters, are we ready?
Yeah, I got other things to think about.
On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. They both think it's less than 900. Ethan, why do you think it's less than 900 tries?
Because I think think that the model they used for Spyro was actually much simpler than the one they used for Crash.
Okay.
Because the feet were easier to animate. I'm
Also,
almost
Then his
certain.
big goofy shoes.
Yeah,
little
like
just
the
pitter-patter.
knees, to make a knee bend right was really difficult
Yeah.
with polygons.
difficult. to make
Spyro's
my
also
knees
a
bend.
sandbox game. Those are
Yeah.
like
arthritis.
Yeah, more
a little harder.
demanding. Yeah, okay. So, to the question of how many tries is Spyro's model made up in the original Spyro game, Quentin said 900. Ethan and Ty think it's less. The correct answer, 411 tries.
A lot less.
He's a real simple little model.
Andy Boy is not on
He's
the
a
board.
real simple model. All
He's
right.
not on the board anymore.
Wow.
Ty and Ethan. Is it
It is
tied
a
again?
three-way tie.
Again at the end of
Tie.
round 2.
Oh
Four
wow!
to
It's
four.
almost like the bonus stars
Crazy.
could literally decide exactly.
Destroy this whole
They
thing.
just destroy the whole thing.
What are them bonus
Crazy.
stars?
As they always do.
All right. We're starting with Ethan this time.
Oh dear.
The reckoning has come back.
It never
Here
left.
Here it comes for you, Ethan. In the hit game Metal Gear Solid, Hideo Kojima, Metal Gear Solid, whatever other stuff Quentin says about it,
DI, Biden, DI.
3D models are made up of tries. How many tries are in Snake's model?
You're a monster. You're a monster. I don't even know why you
Look how happy he is.
you play these
so pleased.
Wait a minute moment.
play these games.
Yes.
with us.
I'm fairly certain Snake has 2 models in the original Metal Gear
You
Solid.
are
He has
correct.
a player model when you're zoomed out watching him run around, and then he has a model for some cutscenes.
Here's the
Got
thing.
you.
So I don't believe you're correct, but
He does have 2 models.
he does have 2 models.
But
He has this shirtless one and the
no, I don't mean 2 variants of like costumes. He does have 2 models, but the second one is only used in like the crawling section. When you're in like a event, they get rid of part of his model.
We're going to say
so he really just has 1 model.
what we're talking about is not because if you want to say models, because Devin said different costumes or not, he does have more because he has where he's shirtless, he has where he has the scuba diving.
Yeah, we're not
equipment,
talking
He
about
has
that.
his tuxedo.
I think
We're
those
talking
are all
about
just 3 textures. I don't think it's a
No,
different.
those
No,
are
it
different
is- he
models.
takes the jacket
yeah,
off.
No,
Yeah.
he has different
We're talking
models,
about the in-game, just when you're running around model. Like, yeah. It's also in cutscenes.
I seem to remember that model being fairly simple. Like, that is not a complicated model. He doesn't have like facial like geometry to it all that much. Like, it's a fairly simple model.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that he probably has about, I'm gonna say 450.
450.
Yep.
Final answer?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Doubters, you ready?
Ready.
On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. They both think that it's more than 450. Quinn, why do you think it's more than 450?
I think Snake's model is got so many joints and sides and everything.
Interesting.
I feel like Hideo Kojima is the kind of guy that would be sitting at home screaming and crying if he did not give as many as he possibly could on the hardware.
Yeah.
That he, So I'm gonna guess that he fit as many of those tries in there as he could.
I think Snake's
Yeah.
abs have more than 450 tries.
You never know.
Yeah.
He's so pointy. He's
don't
got
know.
like so many joints. You know what I mean? That I feel like
the pointiness is fewer.
Yeah.
Roundness
Pointiness
is more,
fewer.
and
yeah.
his legs are like just two. They just have the single joint on them.
You're also correct that he makes no facial expressions.
he doesn't make facial
like
expressions.
Spyro. That's where
true.
almost all his polys are, because you can see him around the
Mouth
eyes.
and- yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true.
You guys ready?
Yep.
For the question of how many tries are in Snake's model in Metal Gear Solid, Ethan said 450. Ty and Quentin think it's more.
I think
The
it's
correct
more.
answer, 644.
Oh.
Okay.
Between Crash and
Spyro.
No, wait. Lower than Crash or Spyro.
No, in
No,
between.
yeah,
them.
in between. Yeah, you're
huh?
right. You're right.
Lower than
'Cause
Crash, higher
Crash
than
is higher,
Spyro.
yeah.
Yeah.
Quentin and Ty.
Quentin and Ty got a point.
Okay.
This is just a dead heat.
It really
This
is.
really
It
is.
is.
It is.
All right,
All
Ty, you ready?
No.
If you've been following this, you probably get the
There are
theme.
5,628 toothpicks on the ground.
Okay. Thank goodness.
You guys can't see the ground. You don't know if he's right. All right.
That's a lot of toothpicks.
How many-
Swimming.
How many
We're up to our
copies?
ankles.
How many copies did the original Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1 sell? We're not including re-releases in like digital format.
All right.
In the millions.
It was a big one. At least one.
At least
And
one
less
copy.
than 500.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I think the
Mhm.
original Metal Gear Solid sold 9 million copies.
9 million. Is that your
Oh.
final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Ethan and Quentin, you ready? Doubters? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. They both think that it was less.
So
Why do you think it was
I
less?
almost said spot on. I think you're probably
think
so
it's really
close
close.
that it's unbelievable.
Mm.
I'm gonna say maybe, I don't know, maybe 8.5. You know, that kind of close.
I feel like if
Yeah.
You
I
know
feel
what
like
I mean?
if I get it within 500,000, I'm spot on. Because what are the odds?
Yeah.
My odds are 1 in 9 million to
Right,
get it.
Well, of
right,
course,
right.
spot on. But that
Yeah.
what my thing was I said almost spot on because
Yeah.
it really I think I think you are so close to correct.
Yeah.
I think both me and Quinn are okay with if he's within a million, up or down, like half
Sure.
a million. If it's
Oh, well,
with
and when you're dealing with,
9.5,
like,
he's got it's 8.5.
If it's
he's sure
if
spot
we're
on.
yes within the millions, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
reasonable.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
So if you say 9, you.
David's
you've
sitting
got
there
it.
looking at the answer. That's why he's so readily agreeing.
All right. So to the answer for how many copies did Metal Gear Solid the original sell on PlayStation 1? Ty said 9 million. Ethan and Quentin think that it's less. The correct answer, 9.3 million.
He was spot on.
That was
Wow.
really close.
I mean, that's as close
That's
to spot
good.
on as
That's
you
close.
can be.
Yeah.
Ty
Yeah.
gets
Close.
2 points, right?
Ty gets 2 points.
Ty gets
Both
2 points.
doubters were wrong.
That I figured you were
You were
super,
right, though,
super
when
close.
I was very close.
super
You're very
close. I was
close.
like, oh, that's got to be almost spot on.
All right, guys, you
Thank
ready
you,
for the
guys.
final question?
Solidarity for the players
No,
that Devin
yeah.
tortures.
In in the final round. Final question of the final round. Quentin, you ready?
Yeah.
Metal Gear?
Metal Gear.
Your
Solid.
answer?
Third floor basement.
No, I'm just kidding. Third floor basement. In the original Metal Gear Solid, Snake is notorious for repeating people's lines back to
He
them.
does. He does.
How many times does he do that in the
Oh.
original game?
That's a good question.
Let me think.
I always
All
save
of
my
them.
favorite question for the last.
All of them. Every time.
every question that's asked.
12.
12 times?
I'm gonna say at least 12 times does that dude respond to something with a question.
With a question.
Which now I'm starting to think it might be higher. I'm starting to think whether I should double it.
Specifically, how often does he repeat it back?
See, that's the other thing is this repeating it back or just saying
Not just like asking a question like, where is the base? Like, if he repeats
he
back
had-
the question.
when he repeats it back?
When someone says there's a
Third
Metal
floor
Gear
basement.
when he says
Metal
yeah,
Gear.
Metal Gear, but he says Cyborg Ninja like 3 times in a row. So I don't know how to answer this question. I'm just gonna go with my guns. I'm gonna say Quentin Dotson original. You can bleep my last name and my address that I have on screen for some reason. Do we use our last names? I have no idea.
I don't know. That
I don't think we have at
we've
this
said
point.
it.
Let me rephrase. I'm gonna start from. You're gonna cut that. Here's a Quentin. This is a Quentin original.
Wave your hand so Devin knows to edit this part.
Edit this
Come
out.
in.
This is a Quentin original. Ella Purnell thinking about an ethnic girl rather than the question. Going with my guns. I'm going to say 12.
12. Final answer?
Final answer. He does this
All right.
12 times in a row.
I do
Okay.
think
All right, guys.
very close.
You guys ready?
Ready.
On boom. 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Split on and
Yeah.
split the group.
You split the
So I
group,
got
so
one
you
point.
definitely got a point.
Oh
Man,
my.
if
Ethan, why do you think he's spot on?
My paddle had a spider
was
egg in it.
counting it out. I think it's the same.
You think it's 12?
Yeah.
Ty, you think it's more, though?
I think it might be more. I think he's close. I was
Okay.
close to spot on myself. I think he's very, very close. It happens a lot.
It happens
If you
a- it
count
happens a
each
lot.
time he says Cyborg Ninja, I think it's a
I
lot.
think it's that we think it happens more than it
That's
does.
true. It's not as long.
I think it really happens in his first conversation with the dude who gets murdered,
Yeah.
and then he has like one conversation with Otacon where it just won't stop.
You know what I just
And
realized?
then it's like twice with the Colonel.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized something, gentlemen. I actually think I should have said way more because I was thinking like in cutscenes and whatnot. There is like
Happens
50
in the
hours
fight
of
with-
dialogue. No, there's like 50 hours of dialogue in Codex, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure half of those are him going. The third floor basement. So
The codecs are a lot.
Black
All right.
Project, DARPA chief. I mean, the man, and it's just codex of
Yeah.
Soviet Russia, right?
And I was very detailed with this one. I went through. Yeah, I went
Yeah,
through.
you got the point, man. It's probably
Very curious
more.
to hear what this is.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys ready
Yep.
Yeah,
for the
I am.
question of how many times does Snake repeat someone's words in Metal Gear Solid? Quentin said 12 times. Ethan thinks that's spot on, but Ty thinks it's more. The correct answer is 64 times. 64
When
times.
said he was thinking about doubling it, I
Yeah.
thought he was
No.
close.
Yeah.
As a little highlight, my favorite ones are woman and octuplets.
That is a good
Like
one.
he's never heard either of those words before. Woman. Octuplets.
It's just like you, Quinn.
I sat through
For
through
real.
a montage that a guy created of all of his repeats and counted them because the guy didn't count them. He's just like, I've compiled every time Snake says something back, like repeats it back.
I did not
You did
consider
some work.
codex at all, and I was just thinking like,
Yeah.
oh well, maybe
Cutscenes.
in cutscenes, you know, and that kind of thing.
So
Yeah.
much.
No,
code
I'm
in the
sure that if
codex.
you count codex in every game,
Yeah.
the amount of times that he repeats is
Hundreds.
probably got to be.
Thousands, maybe.
There's 1,000 in Metal Gear Solid 4 alone.
So does
Okay.
Ty get 1 point or 2?
Ty
Ty
gets
gets
one.
One.
And Quentin gets one because
Split the
Ethan was
group.
wrong.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
No, Quentin got one regardless. He split the group.
Well,
That's-
the idea behind splitting the group is that one person has to be wrong.
Yeah.
We can only beat him
Oh yeah, no.
if we are in
All right, Rachel,
unison.
No,
give
no,
us
we're
give us the
in
final
agreement.
tally
All right.
before the bonus stars.
Put my counting glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Quentin with 8.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I take that back. Quentin with
Rachel, can we-
6.
Quentin was 6. What a devastating twist of
How
events.
devastating.
You better-
maybe,
Quentin
maybe you
with
get 2 bonus
6.
stars.
You
Yeah.
better give me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you better give me 12 bonus
Ethan
stars.
with 4.
Oh.
Ty with 8.
Oh. Whoa.
Well, somebody had 8.
Back from the depths.
Back from the- so
All
it's
right, so
Ty
the
with
current
the crown.
standings is Ethan in last, Quentin in the middle, Ty got first. But here comes
The bonus
the
stars.
bonus stars.
Ethan, you ready to win?
How many points are bonus
Come on.
stars worth?
Just one.
Okay. all right.
I'm not a cruel
How many bonus
god.
stars are there?
There's 3. There's 3.
Okay.
All right, the first bonus star. Trash Panuka star.
I have to win. Wait, so the only way that I could tie with Ty is if
You
I
could
get.
win if you got all 3.
If I got all
yeah,
3,
then
you
you
had to
would
get
win.
all 3.
I
Yeah.
won't.
The Trash Panuka star
Okay.
goes to the star for the person that, through the mess of garble that I was speaking, somehow retracted Trash Panuka, and it's the only way I will ever refer to Crash Bandicoot ever again. Quentin gets it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I literally.
Good job.
It was like you were speaking another language. Like Chinese,
great.
which I will need to learn because G let me in.
Oh boy.
Let me in.
Are you guys ready for the next bonus star?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
But go for it.
This is the woman star. The person who has played Metal Gear Solid lots of times, but for some reason doesn't know that Snake repeats things constantly. 64 times, because he's a big doofus.
I wasn't counting the codex.
It's a star with a dunce cap on it.
I wasn't
It goes to Quentin.
I wasn't counting the codex.
Which means Ty and Quentin are tied for first. Whoever
Great
gets this next,
television.
Now
and
imagine
I-
if he just gives it to Ethan.
yeah,
and he
and
just
then
says
just
tie.
tie a tiebreaker for the tie.
Okay. Well, he's already given me 2, so
I've got
He's got to give you the
No,
star.
he's going to give you the star.
There's no way he's giving me
the next star
He's not giving me the star.
is the big dumb star.
You douchebag.
This one goes to someone who doesn't remember that the first time you encounter Moneybags, he needs 100 gems. And for the entirety of all the gems in all the game, he said 60.
No, you said 30.
No, he
I
said
said
60.
I said at
Oh,
least
okay.
60.
At least 60.
When in reality, there was 3,000. It goes to Ty.
Oh,
You got the
yeah.
big dumb star.
You're the winner. you
Congrats,
big
Ty.
dummy.
So
And Ty's the
proud.
winner.
I'm so
Yeah.
proud.
You won this round of Squid Game.
Yeah,
I did. I get to
exactly.
live.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Guys, that
gosh,
was more or
so
less
stupid.
PS1 edition. You survived another more or less.
We did.
I
somehow.
don't know how.
I don't know how.
They're the most torturous
It was
games.
rough.
I'm
I
gonna
don't know,
someday. I'm
I
gonna be beaten to death with those things.
I was gonna say
for
one
a
of
little
these
more or
days-
less time.
One of these days we're gonna get so frustrated with these games.
Yeah.
And if you made it to the end of the episode, put a trash can and a panda emoji in
Yeah,
the
do it.
comments.
Trash Pandu.
For Trash Pandacoot.
If we get 5 comments that have a trash can and a panda, I'll draw Trash Pandacoot.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Trash
Those
Panda.
are
Please
my
do that.
Extra
Please make
motivation.
Ethan do
All right.
that.
Yeah.
We can
please.
get to 5 with the people in this room.
More work for Ethan.
All right, guys, that was a podcast.
All right.
Thank you
That was
guys for
fun.
joining. Thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
Thank
Glad
you
to
so
be
much.
back.
Don't
Yeah,
forget
glad
to
to-
like
yeah,
and comment.
I'm not glad to be back.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
We're really close to 100.
We're
We'd love
so
to see
close.
That is
As of
so
this
exciting.
taping, we are 15 away.
We're only
Nice.
15 away.
You could be number
85.
100.
No, you
Yeah.
could be
Be
number
number
100.
100.
If you're number 100, we're giving away a free nothing.
Yeah.
Because that's what we have to give away.
I'll give away one of these signs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen. I'll come to your house and I'll feed you a fresh egg.
Yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
no.
I'll
There
already
you
be
go.
at your
Yeah,
house.
terrible.
Yeah, so
Because you subscribed, I'll already be there.
thank
Yeah,
you.
it's already there.
I'm already there. I'm probably there right now.
We'll be friends.
All right, guys.
That's
Thank
a
you for
threat.
watching.
I'll see your mom's house.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Hope you have that girl call me.
Bye.
Call me, please.